What's that cooking, baby? 5 days to training camp. Can you smell it? Victory. Yeah. Victory, right? 5 days to the start of training camp. How you doing, man? Welcome aboard, everybody. Another big show for you lined up. Right out of the gate, Hollis Thomas, bottom of this hour, 3:30. We'll talk Philadelphia Eagles football with the legendary defensive tackle, get his spin on all things Eagles and some NFL conversation. That'll be at the bottom of the hour. You guys all come aboard with us. Thank you so much. The way you do. Daz, we will not be starting with Sixers talk, Phillies talk. All Eagles and NFL, baby. You got it. That's what stirs the drink of sports today, man. I say baseball and basketball and hockey and some of these other sports, they're putty in the gaps. That's what they are now because nobody knows how to market the NFL better than the NFL, and nobody knows how to market football better than the NFL. They're masters at it. Front page, second page, third page. Hell, I barely know the teams that are in the Major League Baseball races now. But I do know what teams are showing up to training camp. I mean, the NFL season this year, the great thing about the NFL also is this. You know, we start an NBA season out. We do this. There's 4 teams, maybe, that could potentially win an NBA championship. Right? In the NFL, we do this. Who can win it? Somebody could be like the Rams years ago and come from nowhere and win it. And win the whole damn thing. Eagles, 17. Nobody saw that coming. Not anybody saw that coming with that mass unit that went on to win that Super Bowl with a substitute teacher in Nick Foles. Nobody saw that. That's the beautiful thing about the journey we're about to go on in the NFL. Look, we got summer almost over. 60% of summer's over right now. Okay? And by the way, blue shell crabs, do I miss them on the East Coast? Going to the Jersey Shore. Man, I miss all that. Winter's right around the corner of the fall. We start playing ball here in a couple weeks in exhibition football. We start to get a sense of what these teams are going to really look like. This is really going to be an iconic year for the NFL, in my opinion. By the way, like I've been telling you guys, and we've been going over the Eagles schedule. Today, we're going to do Cowboys. That'll be week 6. So we're on our 6th game of the year. That's Dallas Cowboys before you go into the bye. So we're going to get into that here in a minute. I want to start something out here with you guys, though. And Kyler Murray, it's a big deal. I really do think it's a big deal, especially for the folks in Baltimore, maybe even for the folks in Philadelphia, on what you do with Jalen Hurts after the end of the year. But let me throw this at you here on where the Philadelphia Eagles are as an organization. You know, I got to tell you this. Show me this here and tell me this. Do you agree of all the organizations in the NFC East, the most stable are the Eagles? Are they in really any hurry to make a decision at the quarterback spot? More so than anyone else? By the way, I think the future of the Eagles, the quarterback position, I think it goes around the Cowboys. I'm going to explain here in a minute. But look at the Giants. Brand new general manager, brand new head coach, and Brian Daboll. You got to figure out what the quarterback thing's going to be. Are you going to go after Jimmy Garoppolo? That's some reports. Washington, you have no idea how they're going to react. Carson Wentz is as much as an outlier on what he'll do this year, on whether or not Daniel Snyder owns the team by the end of the year. You got so many things going on in Washington. It is an upside-down organization. There's so much chaos in that organization. How do you win like that? Ron Rivera would be the coach of the year if he wins the division. with all the stuff going around that team with the owner, front office, the lawsuits, all that stuff, man. Craziness that goes on in Washington and has really for a decade. Wouldn't you agree, though? Are the Eagles, are they really in a sense of urgency with the quarterback position? I mean, the division is upside down. Outside of, and hey, let's go to Dallas here for a second before we preview them. Salary cap hell, your contract with Zeke Elliott. I mean, the money you gave him, that $90 million, is like an anchor around your neck. You had to jettison Amari Cooper and send him for nobodies to come back to your team, what, 5th and a 6th? And you gave up a 1 for the Raiders for him? I mean, the Dallas Cowboys are in money crunch situations right now when it comes to their salary cap and their roster. Every single team in that division has an issue. The Eagles really don't. Watch this. We're debating whether or not the quarterback's good or not. Okay? In Dallas, you have no money to bring in even anybody like Von Miller or anybody that you needed in the offseason to maybe replace a Randy Gregory. You couldn't do anything. Bobby Wagner, you were never going to be able to afford him. Washington, as I said, it's a train wreck. Dallas, you don't know what's going on there. And in New York, you don't know. Okay? So really, when you look at it, the Eagles, are you in a sense of urgency to make a dramatic move at the end of the year at your quarterback spot? Maybe not. Maybe you do have 2 years of leeway to figure this out. Would that be fair? If you win the division, like you guys are saying and like I'm saying, you win the division, you win a playoff game, you get to the NFC Championship game or even into a divisional round, you win 12 ball games, you see improvement at the quarterback, why wouldn't you bring him back? Again, it's not because I think he's a great player, but I would say this. Are you under any real pressure to make a move there right now? Are you? Are you under any pressure? I think we got to wait and see how this plays out, and especially in Dallas. And I'm going to get to why Dallas is important in this whole conversation here. Now, Jeremiah makes a great point. Sills, the draft class. Jones says, Sills, no, they're not. We must win the division. Jerry's World needs to be given a stipend to sign those players. I'm with you, man. Okay? Hurts going to want a Kyler Murray bag of money. He'll never get that. Dan, you know deep down you are not bought in on Jalen Hurts, much less the Eagles. I'm completely bought in 1,000% on the Eagles. I'm not bought in 100% on Jalen Hurts. So, Alan, you're half right. Alan, you'll learn one lesson with me. I don't lie because I'm not good at it. You don't – if you have a question about where I stand on something, just ask me and I'll tell you. I don't have – okay, I'm not smart enough as a sports talk guy to sit here and try to bullshit you. I'm not smart enough to do that. That's not what I do and who I am. Okay? What are you talking about, Sills? Beansy, what I'm talking about is I don't really know if the Eagles are under really that much pressure to figure out whether or not this is the final season for Jalen Hurts or not, especially if there's improvement. Okay? But would you not agree with this? Here's what I'm going to say about this coming season, because Dallas is truly the gold standard in the NFC East right now, defending champions. I'm going to get to them here in a minute, 2022 Dallas Cowboys. Does Jalen have to outplay Dak Prescott to keep his job moving forward? Dak's the best quarterback in the division as of now until, or maybe Jimmy Garoppolo gets into New York or takes that Giants job, what have you. They're talking about that's probably the number one landing spot for him will be the Giants. Okay? Do you think he has to outplay Dak? If you can't beat Dallas, and he can't beat Dallas, he's not the guy. You have to beat that. You have to split with Dallas at least. That's the minimum. Because then you're competitive. 2 years you haven't been competitive against the Cowboys. Okay? 2 years. Listen, they win 10, 11 games. They split with the Cowboys. They're right there neck and neck with Dallas. He's improved. You're going to bring him back. You're going to bring him back unless something dramatically happens in next April's draft. That's my opinion. You got to outplay Dallas. You've got to be better than Dallas in 2022. Let's do that first, okay? Don't worry about winning divisions. Don't worry about winning NFC conference championships. Beat Dallas. If you beat Dallas, everything else falls in place. If Jalen outplays Dak, it falls in place. If he doesn't, then we got a problem. You know, and the reason I'm starting the show off with this is how many times did we see some of the best pass rushers in the AFC East? You know what they were trying to do? Slow Brady down. Everybody was trying to slow Brady down. If you played in the AFC, you had to have great pass rushers if you were going to take on the Patriots. You had to. Because you had this. You may not have a quarterback that can compete with them, but you got to get pass rushers in there. And you got to slow that guy down. That's the one thing that you love what Howie Roseman did with this Philadelphia Eagle process and putting all those new players on the defensive side of the football. What did he do? Pass rushers, corners. This is to defend Dak. You got to beat Dallas. Dallas has to be the priority. It's almost like a college football rival or like Army-Navy. Hey, man, you can win 8 ball games. You get in the Army-Navy game, your season goes to hell if you lose that game. You know that. How about, and Xander knows this one, the Alabama game. You could be undefeated, lose the Auburn game. You want to hear something? If I'm Alabama, I'd rather lose a Southeastern Conference championship game than the Auburn game. Okay? I'd rather lose that game because I'm still going to be in the mix for a national title. What I don't want to do is lose Auburn. Dude, I never wanted to lose to Florida or Florida State. I didn't care who we played. Can't get beat by those guys. You just can't get beat by those guys. And that, to me, is exactly what goes on in Philly. You can't get beat by the Cowboys. And most notably, you can't be beat up by the Cowboys. Last year, the Cowboys beat up the Eagles. Never in it. Never in it. Am I right when I say that? If Jalen shows that he is compatible with Dak, you got yourself a guy who win a game with Dak Prescott. That's going to make the front office of Philadelphia at the NovaCare Center stand up and go, we need to reevaluate this. Now, do I think he's in the same conversation as Dak on July the 21st? I do not. He's not as accurate as him, nor does he have the passing arm as Dak. However, and plus Dak's put up 4,000 passing yard seasons, albeit with better talent. It's a fair comment. But you got to beat Dallas. That being said, 2022 Dallas Cowboys. Don't forget Hollis Thomas at the bottom of the hour here, too. Gannon has to stop Dallas. Got to slow him down. Okay? They only beat crap teams. They did last year, but let's see if that changes. Got tore up front. They sure did. You're going to see Hurts lose games in the fourth quarter. Yeah, but that's when that football team with A.J. Brown and the running attack should be taking over, is in the fourth quarter. When you got a top running game, how are you getting beat if you have a lead? If you have a lead with that O-line and that running attack and with an improved defense, you should not be losing fourth quarters if you're Philadelphia this year. You should not be losing. You have upgraded at every position on defense. I told you this. This is one of the reasons I'm high on the team. It's not so much the offensive side. Gannon is the person who has to stop Dallas. He's got to put the players in the right position. Okay? No question about it. Let me get into the Cowboys here. You have to beat this team. There is nobody else on this schedule that matters. Nothing. Minnesota, Lions, Steelers, Washington, Packers, Colts. This team. You've got to beat the Cowboys. You've got to beat this team. Because it's emotional. You see how much your roster's improved. They will be your nemesis because Jerry spends money and Jeffrey Lurie really doesn't a lot of the times. Got to beat this team. Defending NFC East champions, 12-5 last year. They end up losing to the 49ers in the wild card round last year. And again, 27 years, they have not made it back to a conference championship game, the Dallas Cowboys. That Ezekiel Elliott contract of 6 years, $90 million hangs around that franchise's neck like an anchor, like I said. I mean, even more so than what Dak's deal is. It just hangs around that team's neck. They're squeezed against the salary cap at the end of every single regular season. They've got to make tough cuts, and they had to make some tough decisions this past offseason. There's no doubt. I mean, they were able to get out from under the Amari Cooper deal, which was 5 years, $100 million, but they surrendered a first-round draft choice for the guy. Did he help improve Dak? Absolutely. Development was there because of Amari Cooper. I completely agree. But they end up turning around getting a 5th and 6th for it. The only thing you basically did there was a salary dump. You basically wanted to let loose by saving some face with a 5th and a 6th in 2022 for a guy you gave up a first-round draft choice for, and you were paying $20 million. What a bad move. The Dallas Cowboys got taken to the cleaners here. So you're telling me the Cleveland Browns pick up a top-flight wide receiver for a 5th and a 6th. Are you kidding me? You're right. 5th and a 6th, and all I had to do was pick up some of his money. Dude, the Browns got over. The Cowboys got taken to the cleaners here. And you're telling me the return in asset was nowhere near what you gave up. Okay? I think one of the most important things Dallas did this year was keeping Dan Quinn and being able to keep the defensive coordinator on that football team. I think Dan Quinn's done a nice job of putting guys in position where the year before Mike Nolan, the defensive coordinator, could not. And they were just getting run all over last year. And Dan Quinn has done a nice job. Dan Quinn did a decent job when he was in Atlanta, getting that team to a Super Bowl, building that defense up. And he did a great job when he was up in Seattle with Pete Carroll. He's definitely a defensive-minded guy, and I think he's going to get an opportunity to coach somewhere again, maybe in this coming season here. So keeping Dan Quinn in the building was important for Dallas. Basically got 2 head football coaches sitting in Valley Ranch right now, which will help Dallas as they go through this upcoming 2022 season. The offense averaged 401.4 yards per game, 401 yards per game. Number 1 in the NFL. They averaged 30.4 points per game. Dallas had it going on offensively last year. 400 yards in total offense. An offense puts on your ass every Sunday and 30 points. Most of the time, you're going to have to get into a shootout with Dallas. Dak Prescott's numbers. 4,449, 37 touchdowns and 10 picks. Exceptional. Exceptional numbers. Dak had a great year. Zeke was a tick over 1,000. I think 1,002. 4.2. But here's your problem. I'm paying him money, and Tony Pollard's rushing at 5.5 yards per carry, making $850,000 a year, where Zeke's making $435,000 a game. Dallas has a salary cap issue and a salary issue there at that position. You got to play Zeke because of the money, but then you look at Tony Pollard. He's more productive. Tony Pollard and Miles Sanders are a lot alike. Okay? They're a lot alike. So, I mean, look, I think this football team, you're going to see most of the time offensively, you're going to see Dallas in 11 or 12 personnel. And I think this football team has an opportunity at winning a lot of games again. I still question what happened on defense. CeeDee Lamb, 79 catches, 1102 for 6 touchdowns. They got a decent tight end. I think offensively, I think the Dallas Cowboys they're going to put up the same kind of points they did a year ago. Toilet says garbage time stats. They did go 12-5 last year. And they destroyed the Eagles, though. Hey, Toilet, they destroyed the Eagles. Destroyed them. Okay? I mean, it was never close. The Monday night game was embarrassing. Okay? So, I mean, the Cowboys this year, in my opinion, okay, offensively, Dak with 4,449, 37 touchdowns, 10 picks. You're going to see them most of the time in 11 to 12 personnel. They've got wideouts. We'll see what CeeDee Lamb does. They lost guys in the O-line. It's older. Ezekiel Elliott is not the same guy. And that's one of the reasons why, in my opinion, when you're talking about the Cowboys in the red zone and you're talking about the Cowboys with a 2-minute drive, one of the reasons why they can't sustain it, because they're not getting the production in the running game that they did 3 years ago. When you get production in the running game, play action pass is there for all these guys. All right, let's get to our friend here, Hollis Thomas. And training camp is 5 days away. And I'm going to start it out here with Hollis. I appreciate you coming aboard here, Hollis. Thank you so much, my friend. So, Hollis, ready? See if we can get him up here and bring him up here. There you go. How's that doing, brother?
Good. Hold on a second. Alexa, turn off music. Now, I did hear what you were saying, though. If you mind if I interject with what you're
please.
Saying? The one thing that I think that we're forgetting is they brought Dak. As much as I despise the Cowboys, they should have been winning playoff games. They should have brought a title home. It's the coaching. You can't bring a quarterback back off an injury and throw 40-plus times in a game where you're getting 3, 4, 5 yards a pop, but you want to throw the ball 40 or 50 times and you still lose. That doesn't bode well for your defense. And in order for them to get production out of the run game, you actually have to run the ball. They're playing them for the pass. You're not getting any run formations. You're not getting it. Have you seen 12s?
No.
Have you seen? I was like, have you? Put it this way. Name one of the tight ends that can actually block on the run.
That kid Schultz is terrible in the blocking game.
Exactly. So when you have a good running game, you have a couple of tight ends. One is made for pass catching, but there's also one who can catch and can block. But they haven't run the ball. You got Kellen Moore, and now they talk about head coach. What the hell for?
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's like, come on, dude. But I heard you talking about that.
No. Let me take that over to the Eagle size on you then, Hollis, here, because it's a great point. Go back with Chip a little bit even. Well, Chip wanted to run 80 plays, right? Well,
Right.
shit, man. You're going to get a ton of 3-and-outs, which is going to tire your defense out.
Yep.
You're going to put most of your guys on IR by the end of the year or mid part of the season.
Correct.
This year in 2022, do you think the formula for the offense should be, let's start the way we finished last year and go at the passing game incrementally by adding passes? He averaged 28 attempts last year. I don't want to see him throwing the ball 40 times out of the game.
Exactly, and that's what. And that, see, you bring, which brings you to the next one. I want to see him averaging 25 throws because that's a good balance. You know, the thing that a lot of people think that I'm always talking about run. No, keep the defense off guard. It's like, if I know you coming out to pass all the time, hell with the run. I'm trying to stop you from getting big chunk plays because I know that once you get 1 or 2 incomplete passes and then you're forced to run, I can stop you because you haven't done anything. And the play action fakes only work if you're running the ball. That's what I was going to tell you about the Ezekiel Elliott stuff. When you run a play action fake, everybody knows that Kellen Moore is not running the ball. He's not running the ball by any stretch of the means. You got Dak coming off the injury. The best way to get your offensive line quality confidence is to mash. When you mash and you mash and you mash, and the defense cannot do anything about it, it is demoralizing as a defender. And then you don't know if it's pass or run. So you're caught in what I call defensive limbo. Do I attack or no, I don't attack? When I attack, they throw me down. But when I don't attack, they pass it. So you have to mix it up. Have to have a good mixture.
Hollis, what about this then, starting the season out too? Because for me, if you're looking at the numbers that we saw with A.J. Brown in Tennessee, where he averaged 68 catches, 998 yards, and 8 touchdowns a season, are we expecting 1,400 more yards or a 1,400-yard season? Or are we expecting the same numbers? And I talked to Seth yesterday about this, and I want your take on it too. Do you think his impact's going to be on third down and in the red zone? That's going to be his biggest impact, is going to be there. But if you're looking for a 1,400-yard season out of somebody who traditionally hasn't done it yet in 3 years, that's not who he is.
Well, no, I'm looking for him to make a quality contribution and add a flair of toughness to our receiving core. We have some 6'5" and 6'6" tight ends that will be able to that will create some problems down in the red zone. And if we're running the ball properly, we won't have to create those mismatches. And I love Devontae Smith in the red zone. His route running ability from the inside and the out. It's great. But it is true what you're saying though about the red zone. I think that he's one of those guys that's going to get the double coverage. Is going to put some other guys in particularly the running backs who can catch out of the backfield and the tight ends. It's going to put some pressure, more pressure on the defense than we've been able to do in the past.
Jump balls too. I mean, I'm going with A.J. Brown jump balls.
Oh yeah, I'm going with A.J. Brown. But also you got Dallas Goedert down there, and then the kid that's coming off a injury that was the quarterback. He's a bit of a beast. I'm looking to see what he does. He's on a pup list coming out because he had that injury. I'll tell you about that later. You play pro. You know when they try to keep you, it's like, oh,
sniper.
He went down in practice. Trainer.
Go down, Sileo.
Yeah, so it's like I'm interested to see what they do. I was privy to some practices as an alumni, and I like the crispness that was going on compared to when I went to the practices last time. It was really like last time it was like everybody was feeling their way around. Now you got a core of guys who know what they're doing, know what to expect, and they've been in the system for a year. I think I don't know if you were going towards this, but I think the person who's kind of on a hot seat is Keith Gannon. Is Keith Gannon or Jonathan Gannon?
Jonathan Gannon.
It's bad with Jonathan?
Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah, Jonathan. I want to call him Keith so bad because Keith is almost the ugliest name
Hollis,
of the
does it matter what his first name is right now? He's got approved.
Exactly. Yeah, he's got to give me the ribbons first name because I don't know if Seth told you me and him were texting back and forth during the New York Jets game when we were playing against Zach Wilson, and we were just like showing him vanilla coverages like he was the second coming, and he torched us for 12 or 14 and 2 touchdown passes in the first half, and then we started getting to him in the one shot, but that's too late. If you let a veteran quarterback get that hot, you're done. It's like you do not give a kid a chance. You show him everything. You do what Tampa Bay did to us in the playoffs. You throw everything at his ass. We have a young quarterback, first time in the playoffs. Hit him with the kitchen sink. That's what you're supposed to do to Zach Wilson. I don't know if Jonathan's going to have the ability as I say, the tactical fortitude to do what it takes to get this defense into a top 5 defense. Because I feel like you have the players and you have the tools around you. What are you going to do with them?
I just don't see the creativity in him lining these guys up. And Hollis, do you think this team is more set up for a 43 or 34 front?
I think this team is set up for whatever the opposing team has trouble with.
Okay.
Because when you have a defense, you have to have multiple.
So you saying they're versatile enough?
Yes, I feel like they got enough linebackers to run 4 linebackers out there, and they got the big guys on the interior to run like a three-man bear front up the middle and create some havoc. And it's like you do certain things like that to cause problems for the other team. But I feel like they're a 4-3 front though on the Farilla, because you want that unless he does something stupid. I can just see him doing something stupid.
I don't trust him.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. I don't trust him as well.
I mean, here's you and me talking here. I wonder what the players are thinking when you're sitting here and you're going like this. And, and here, let me lead you into this. There's so many new faces, and you got a training wheel coach, and you got all these new faces. You got a training wheel head coach. And I mean by that is they're brand new at what they're doing going into their second year. And I saw no creativity last year. I'm just wondering, I mean, does it bother you, Hollis, that there's a lot of new faces on that side of defense? I mean, 2 new corners, 2 new linebackers. You're adding some depth in your defensive front. There's a lot of new faces on that side of the ball.
No, it's funny you mentioned that. The thing that kind of worries me. It not even worries me. It's just he's got everything that he needs now to run a defense around a pressurized defense. Pressure busts pipes. A lot of people don't like to hear the cliches, but pressure does bust pipes. If you give a guy all day to throw back there, he's gonna be a Pro Bowler and he's gonna look like an all-time great. But if you make him make quick decisions and force him to put the ball into very, very, very small windows, I feel like we got the coverage on the back end. So what's your excuse now for not blitzing? What's your excuse now? It's like you have the guys to cover now. You have the guys covering the back end. You have the guys up. You got the big guys up front. You cannot get them into what happened last year. And I don't know if you remember this comment. I'm paid to make sacks. Do you remember that comment?
Yeah.
You know why he said that? Because the guy who's calling the defense is not doing anything else but telling us to get upfield. And we're in the same position. And the same position, we're not doing anything exotic or anything like we were saying creative. We're not running any stunts. The times we ran stunts, we were killing. It was like we were killing from the word go. It's like if you want to do that vanilla stuff after we mesmerize people, cool. But don't have us like that the whole game, because I don't know if this is another comment that was made in the playoff game by the Tampa Bay offensive coordinator and Tom Brady. We know we're going to be at. They're not deterring away from anything they did in the first game. The fact that the opposing team knows that and they're not Bill Belichick.
Said it.
And just said it out loud so cameras can hear it. It lets me know that you need to get it, go into your bag of tricks. So it's not even about tricks. It's like you have to come out there and put some pressure on people. You have to force the issue. Our defense is supposed to be organized chaos. We're supposed to force you to do whatever we want you to do. And right now we're letting everybody do what they want when they want.
Tell me something.
Go ahead.
Tell me something, Hollis. I mean, like I said, we had Seth on yesterday, and to me, I know that I hope that you feel like when I played for Jimmy Johnson and Jimmy's defenses in Dallas, it was all penetration, 3-gap, 1-gap technique, 3-1, getting up the field, getting in your gaps, getting after the quarterback, bringing some stunts, dictating the tempo of the
That's
game.
The word.
And I don't know. I feel that is going to happen I don't see this guy like, hey, we're going to dictate pace.
Right. Exactly. And it's funny you say that, because under Jimmy Johnson, I was under Jim Johnson. Jim Johnson's defense, it was attack style, but we also had some creativity to confuse the opposing offense. We had run stunts that if the pass shows, you keep going to the quarterback and put pressure in his face. You put pressure in his face or get him down and get him down quick. It's like you never put the secondary in the bind. we put the secondary in the bind so much because the linebacker core that we were presenting was less than stellar. I was like, but the way that you get the guys' confidence is have them thinking less. It seems like he has way too much thinking to do to be in this defense. If you got see ball, go hit ball. I mean, it's not that complicated. Yeah. It's his I still think his style was just too soft. And that's the best. That's the best. We're ranked number 10, and we probably ranked number 10 due to the personnel we had. We had some guys who were playing with their hair on fire, and some other guys who were carrying some other guys. And we had some timely interceptions and some. We didn't our turnovers. We need to get more turnovers as well. I didn't see that many turnovers, and he didn't put our guys in position to win. If you stand 10 yards off the ball and it's 3rd and 5, what the hell you think they're gonna do?
Yeah, but like you said, Hollis, you're not gonna be sitting here trying to recreate the wheel here because, like Tom Brady and Byron Leftwich said, we knew what they were gonna do.
Yeah.
From the get-go.
And this is nobody cares if you steal something from anybody else. I've learned a long time ago this is a copycat league. You see what gives them problems and you do it. If you can do it, cool. If you can't do what you do best, but you never let a quarterback stand back there like he playing 7-on-7. And we did that too many times. And I know the guys up front was getting sick and tired of standing still. And it's pretty much the offensive line. If you know where he's gonna be at, he's not doing the stunt inside. And that's now that I say that, that's probably what had a lot of offensive lines flustered because they didn't know if we was going to attack them, or if we was going to slant inside, or we was going to slant outside, or what we had in store for them. I was like, and I don't see that type of creativeness right now with Jonathan Gannon. And
let me ask you about TJ Edwards here. I think you probably have to love this guy because
that's my kid. That's my guy.
Watch this here. And I said this to everybody yesterday. I go like this. I go, man, everyone is, and you must have been a part of this a million times in your career. They bring the new shiny toy in. They're trying to replace Hollis. They got all this guy here. And all of a sudden, here's this guy Edwards. And I'm telling you something, what he did last year. Here was the only linebacker that filled the gap. Here's the only linebacker that ran to the ball, kind of galvanized that group. And to me, I'll tell you what, I don't know if Nakobe Dean beats that guy out this year, man. Because don't you think that fires him up a little bit?
I know. Well, I know it fires him up. The pack. Put it this way, our linebacker core is going to be formidable. I know Nakobe Dean can play all 3 positions. See, so if Nakobe Dean is making plays, he's going to force them to put him on the field. But if TJ Edwards saying it's not my spot that he's going to be in. It's like TJ Edwards play. I love TJ at the middle because I loved him even in college at the University of Wisconsin. I seen him coming out. He wasn't that fast, but he was smart as hell. And I've seen how he's how later, if you notice later in the season, how the thing that were catching him early in the season was not catching him later on in the season. So he's starting to learn the system. And I want to see him in the second year of the system. But Nakobe Dean is a playmaker. And what you want on the field is playmakers. If they don't have him on the field, then we got the right playmakers out there. But if he gets on the field, it's going to be because he's earned it. Because we got the kid out of LA from the LA Chargers as well, and then he's a beast as well. So
White.
White. Is it Kaiser White?
Yeah, Kaiser White.
Yeah, I love the way he plays. He's a tackling machine. I think we got a lot. That's what I'm saying. Our linebacker. I know the defensive backs are happy as well because when you banging somebody to the inside and they catch like a little inside route, and then you don't have no linebacker there to either turn them back to you or stop them, and we get off the field, you chasing them like Tom chased Jerry, and it's a first down, and we got 3 more downs on the field. Because I actually talked to a couple of the nickelbacks. I was like, I know you're happy they got some linebackers they can actually cover to know what the hell they're doing. Because the Nathan Gary and I love Alex Singleton, but come on.
Hey, Hollis, what do you think the role Milton Williams will have on this football team?
Milton, he's going to be that he's going to play both defensive end and defensive tackle.
So he's going to be a swing D lineman, you think?
I think when you and I know if you down there with Jerry Jones in Dallas, you know that you run defensive lines in waves. So you get people that can actually play and can start with some consistency in waves. So at the end of the game, you want your quarter horses in there. You want the one that's going to bring you home. You want the starters in there at the end, but you got to make sure you get them the timely rest throughout the game. Not no bunch of plays, but he's going to be one of the guys that gets about 20 to 25 plays, whereas as a starter, he's going to get 45, 50, 60 sometimes, depending on the position. But he's going to get one of those guys get 25, 30 plays. It's going to start out low, as like from 15 to 20, to see how he handles it. Because it's his second year, you don't know if he's going to have the sophomore jinx. But it's like you start giving him 15 to 20 plays, see how he handles that, and then he's going to be splitting reps. And it kind of depends on the opponent too, and and who he got up.
Let me take you over to the other side, the offense, for a couple questions here also.
Okay.
Who do you think benefits the most this coming season having A.J. Brown outside of Jalen Hurts in the huddle, Devontae Smith or Dallas Goedert?
Dallas Goedert.
Why?
Because all that speed on both edges, they're not going to be able to cover those sail routes and stuff. They're going to be wide open. If you telling me you're going to lead the outside guy one-on-one with those two guys?
No. So we're looking at a big season for Goddard, then, you think?
I'm looking at a big season for Goddard, but what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a big season from all the guys, all the pass catchers. And I'm not talking about no record-setting season, but I'm looking for them to make a tremendous strides from what they did last year. I'm looking for Dallas Goedert not to miss some of the passes like he missed last year. I'm looking for Devontae Smith to get on top of people more and to use his route running abilities to put people in the mix. And I'm looking for A.J. Brown to do what the hell he's been doing. But I'm also looking if Miles Sanders, if he puts his thing cap on and gets to running downfield, all this stuff will culminate, and we'll have an offensive juggernaut here. But we have to get him running downhill. He can't try to hit the home run every time, because if you try to hit the home run every time, you're running sideways. And as a defensive lineman knows, what do we want him doing? Want him running east and west so we can give him our best.
Absolutely. Hey, Hollis, one of the things that I just think that they have to improve mightily is their screen game. I mean,
yes, thank you.
Their screen game is like Tom Brady. Here's Tom Brady's career. Watch this. Dink and dunk, dink and dunk, dink and dunk. Slot, one time over the top. Tight end, dink and dunk, dink and dunk. Tight end, throw it. I mean, he made a career of doing that.
Yeah.
And yet we don't have that in our arsenal. That's
but you know what? The screen game is going to come. I think it's going to come because it's probably going to be more with one of the new guys.
Is that coaching?
You got to have the. I think it's more of the personnel too. Sometimes.
Okay. So you think it's
so. Yeah, well, not Jalen. I think it's more the back. Sometimes the back is making it conspicuous, because if you stand up like this all of a sudden, as a defensive lineman, as soon as I see you do this, I know all you're gonna do is try to throw me down and turn around and catch the ball. But it's like it's the different guys. Like Boston Scott is good at it. It's like, because you have to. It's all in everybody. But then to the offensive line. When I say personnel, the offensive line has got to get better at at selling it. It's like, because I can look at it all the time and tell, well, I'm a jerk because I hated screenplays, and you was not throwing the screenplay on me. If you throw me, all of a sudden you invite me upfield. I'm not coming to dinner.
Watch this, Hollis. As soon as the guy lets you and opens up a hole, here's the thing you do. You're looking left or you're looking right, because you're either thinking this. There's going to be a trap play coming, or there's a screenplay coming.
Yep.
Or you're out in the perimeter.
Or the ever so prominent was the offensive guard and the center. They throw their hand out and make you stay in your gap.
They try to influence you.
No, they're not trying to influence you. You know that's a wham play coming where the fullback is coming back, because they're like, you be like, hey, what's all this? They want you to, who got pissed at me? We was playing against the Buccaneers, and they kept trying to run. Was Alex? Who's the tight? I think it's Alex Smith, the tight end.
Yes.
So he was getting pissed. He's like, why won't you run? That was when I was playing with the Saints. Why won't you run the field? I was like, every time y'all run, two tight ends to one side and a third tight end in motion, I know the wham's coming. Tell them to switch the formation. He's like, why won't you run the field? They keep running this play. He's like, this was the argument on the field. Why won't you run that field? They keep running this play. I told him, you know what it is? I was like, yeah, I do know what it is. I'm not gonna. What am I supposed to let you make a highlight reel on me? No.
hey, Hollis, you bring a great point up too about, and I brought this up yesterday with Seth on pass protection. Now, listen, they had the #1 rushing attack last year But you know what? In the second half of the season, they weren't really asked to pass protect. How do I know? And this offense was 27th in the passing game. I mean, they're going to be asked to do a different skill set this year than what they were doing last year in the sense of this. They ran the ball 35 times in the second half per game. They threw the ball 25 times, okay? If you're going to try to improve your passing attempts and your passing game, attempts have to go up because you've got A.J. Brown now and you've got Devontae, you've got Dallas Goedert. So you're trying to improve that. My question is this. Are you comfortable with these guys being versatile enough to be able to be pass protecting on a mobile quarterback? Do you think on what you saw a couple years ago with Carson Wentz, they gave up sacks? Now, he held on to the ball. He was a knucklehead, hero ball. I get all that.
Yeah, but
they haven't been asked to pass protect like that in the last year.
But when you look at the way that they were doing things as far as the pass attack comes off the play action and it comes off some other stuff too. But I feel like Jalen gets rid of the ball a little bit better than Carson. He's more decisive in his decisions, and the part where we'll have confidence in him is once you get the running the ball. The reason why the run is so important is for the pass, because when you run a play action, you want us to believe that it's play action. You want us to think it's a run, but you want us to believe that. I think the strides will be made with guys catching the ball. The guys that you mentioned, with them catching the ball, not just sometime or not just everybody's like, oh, the ball's up. He missed it. And what hit him in his hands. Well, so I think but it's still the running the ball like you were saying, and like that means we're kicking somebody's ass.
Yeah, oh, yes.
And when you run the ball, when there's no incomplete passes, and you're steady getting first downs, the clock keeps on going. Your defense gets stronger. So when you do put them out there, they go out there and slam the door on the sucker. So the next formation that you line up in is the victory formation, the best formation known to man. It's the
Hollis, how many times have you sat on the bench? How many times have you sat on the bench, man? The team's running the ball for 200 yards on you. Your D-line coach, your D coordinator comes over, and you're like this. I don't know. See, when the guy's throwing it for 300 yards, you're in the game. But when I say this, when somebody's running the ball for 200 yards in an NFL game on you, it's like having one hand tied behind your back, and you're surrendering. You can't do anything about it. I
tell you the word you talk about on me as I think the worst rush attack, worst time we planned to run was against Terrell Davis during that 2 years when they was back-to-back champions.
Alex Kidd, that zone blocking.
Yeah, no, that was some cheating shit. Yes, it was cheating shit. Yes. If you're gonna protect the quarterbacks, protect all of us. It's like if I'm running to the sideline and some fuck stick back here goes and chops my legs from under me. That's not football. You know what I'm talking about? They injured a bunch of guys, and so but I commend them
because he's from the McKittrick tree, and they used to do the leg whip and all that stupid shit. I know. And if you're standing near a pile, they'll kind of try to teacup you. They do all that shit.
I know. That's why a lot of the guys got hip tossed by me, because I would see him coming out the corner of my eyes like, yeah, okay. But he got chased up the tunnel by my boy Howie Long. Howie Long was that because I know I played with Chris, and so I actually Howie Long was like one of my favorite D linemen. It was me, Joe Green, Bruce Smith, and Howie Long. Howie Long became my ultimate favorite though when he chased Alex Gibbs up that tunnel after that Raiders played against was it the 49ers?
No, it was McKittrick he chased because McKittrick did the leg whip on him, and because Randy Cross used to do that to me, and Randy's my boy, man. Those guys, 49ers, then they took it over to Denver, like you said. Dude, yep. I mean, they constantly tried leg whipping you.
Yeah, and it's the funniest crap though is like you said, when that's happening to you, everything they're doing is working, and all you can do is like you can look at the coach. He knows when we're licked too, because he looks at the sheets and is like, oh well, throw the sheet down. It's like try to get your hand on somebody.
hey Hollis, do you agree that this year, I started the show out today by saying this: I don't care about the division title, I don't care about the Packer game, I don't care about Minnesota. This team's got to beat Dallas.
Oh,
They got to beat Dallas to know where they are.
Yeah, it's like that's right. Right now, this is actually, to me, this is a defining. This season is I feel like it's is Jalen's defining moment. They've given him all the weapons he needs. They put it's kind of like, but it's also Jonathan Gannon's defining moment too. Given Jalen all of the sorry about this, my beard comb. They've given Jalen all the weapons he needs offensively with a quality offensive line. All you have to do is make the proper decisions and score. They've given Jonathan Gannon everything you need, everything you need defensively. It's up to you to come up with some creativity and whoop some ass. If you can't do that, then we have to move on from those two guys. And that's the way I'm looking at it. I'm expecting 2 more wins, at least one versus those yahoos, the Cowgirls, because I hate them with a passion, because there's a sense of entitlement. The Jacksonville Jaguars have more playoff wins than you since 1996. Shut up.
Hey, dude, I'll tell you why I love you, man, because you know what? You're like Tom Brady. You played with a lumberyard on your shoulder, man. You weren't drafted, and it had to piss you off because you played 12-plus years, and you're going like this. Wait a minute. And I want everyone to know this. Guys don't play 12-plus years that weren't drafted. Okay?
I did.
He's less than 1% of the 1%ers that go on and do what you did. You understand that, right? I know you know that.
Well, I know when people bring it up. It's like, but I loved football, and I wasn't going to
Hollis, I played 3 years and was the 56th player taken. You were undrafted and played 12-plus years on
15.
some dynamic football teams. I have the greatest respect.
And I tried to steal. Thanks. I tried to steal the last 2 years. You know how you steal those last 2 years where you're just a locker room guy. And I don't know if I ever told you. I haven't told this story before. So I was down with the Carolina Panthers, trying to steal that one of those fatal last years. And so I didn't know the defense. So it just brought me in. So we go out for a walkthrough. And so we have to walk through. It's like, first defense out there. So I was standing next to Brian Baker. You know who Brian Baker is? He's a coach. He was a D-line coach. He's standing next to him. He said, "What the hell are you doing?" I was like, I don't know the defense. He said, "You know how to play nose guard, don't you?" I was like, "Yeah, get on out there. They'll tell you the rest." I was like, "Oh shit." Well, I ended up starting there. It was a great time though. It was a fun time. But I didn't get to steal those 2 years. Like, I saw a couple of guys at the end of their career, they were still like 2 years. They were just a locker room guy, and like if you needed a backup, I was like, oh man, on my tail end of the mountain, I'm gonna get that. Not you, not me. 60. They even made up a nickel defense, so I had to stay on nickel too. It was called Big Nickel. I was like, are you kidding me? Because we were playing against the Patriots, and they saw when I wasn't in the game, they started running the ball. So they would do this mean nickel, and then do this. That was me, Big Nickel. So they just left me a nose guard and brought 3. Yeah, they brought 3 defensive ends, and be in. I was like, man, after playing first and second down and give you a hard out on first and second down, you want to relish in the thought of going to the sideline and watching everybody else scramble for sacks.
Last 2 questions for you. Fletcher Cox's career, what do you think it was in Philly? And by the way, probably his last season in Philadelphia, 14-4 year. They're probably going to move on, obviously, after Jordan Davis. Right. What do you think what his time was in Philadelphia?
I think he had a tremendous career, dude. He helped bring a title here. I was like, that was like one of my main goals. He anchored the team to help bring a title here, and he performed great in and out. But I think at times I had to look. And I know he probably looks at it the same way. He went through a couple of coaching regimes, and he got the good coaches, and he got the bad coaches, and he got the crummy coaches. And I think at this point in his career, I think he's kind of tired because watching him play last year, and I think he's tired and a little bit bored because watching him play last year, you get so tired of doing. You just left. Both coaches had no creativity in what they do with you. As like to stand there and take on double teams all the time, that shit is for the birds. Move me around. Let them wonder what I'm doing. If you'd like the key focus of a defense, because I know he's on everybody on their offense, they have make it count for him. They make sure that they double team him. Now, there was some times that he didn't get double teamed and stuff. And it's just like one of those things where it's like, move me around, make me interested. you have to get guys like that attention. But I think he's going to be he's one of the all-time greats here. So
How about
there's
this,
no
Hollis?
doubt about it.
I think he's going to roll into the kind of role that Adama Suh did. To me, if I'm the Eagles this year, okay, and say that Jordan Davis starts playing well, I mean, I don't mind being Adama Suh. $10 million in Los Angeles, another $15 million in Miami.
But that's what I think he's going to. I think he's going to do. He's going to get with somebody that's winning and get into a rotation.
Yep.
It's like get into a rotation and still contribute. I think that's what he's going to do after this, unless he just wants to leave and leave it just being a defensive tackle to play for one team his entire career. I mean, you get out there, but I do know the one thing that I always tell the guys is that you don't walk away if you still can play, because you're gonna be kicking yourself in the ass about 3 years later. After you walk away and you're not doing anything and you just chilling and you don't have nothing to do, it's like you start looking for stuff to do. Now you want to get back in shape and come back, but it's too late now. Because
was it your time to go? Did you know?
It was my time to go. I went and worked out for Pete Carroll when he first came back. And I say worked out, but I was like, I'm thinking to myself, dude, you know what I can do? I say if I have to run 1,000 yards, like, because it's like the 10 half gas or 10 110s, if I have to run 1,000 yards in the game, we fucked. It's like, but he put me through a gauntlet of those dynamic stretches and warm up, and it was like, okay, that was the warm up. I was like, you know what? Get my ticket back to. I was living in Houston at that time. Get my back ticket to Houston and give me my per diem. I was like, because I'm done. Because I'm going to lay by my pool. It was done.
Hey, so you looked at the mirror and just went, okay, Big Daddy, it's time for Big Daddy to move on here.
Exactly, but it was a dynamic warm up, and then it was two guys on the team, Raheem Brock and Brandon Stokely, who was a little longer than two. And I was like, does he take care of veterans? They was like, no. I was like, well, I've seen all I need to see.
Hey, Hollis, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story about Kevin Fagan, how he stole money at the end with the Niners. He goes like this, man. He goes, we got to do this thing for Carmen policy here. So he worked himself up, man, got himself in shape, ran a 4.8, was this and that. By the time training camp came, he went like this. He had just signed a contract going into camp. He gets hurt, doesn't play. He goes like this. Sills, I stole $1.8 million. Hollis, thank you, brother, man. You're always awesome, man. It's special.
Appreciate you.
It's always great, man. Thank you so much for coming aboard, man. We'll catch up down the road again. Thank you, my friend.
Hey, where you located at? Because I travel with Philly Sports Trip. So if I'm in a city near you,
come on out. If you're out in LA.
Oh, okay. I gotta see if we got it. I know we got a trip to Arizona this year.
Okay, well, dude, let me know, because my daughter goes to school at Arizona. She goes to school at Arizona. Okay. We'll hook up. We'll go to lunch.
Oh, yeah, because, actually, Seth will be down there for that game, for the Eagles playing Arizona.
I'm there.
Let me know.
Hey, Hooters on Big Sills.
Hell yeah. Honey barbecue wings, dog.
You got it, Hollis. Thank you, my friend. You got it, man. That's great stuff, man. God, I'll tell you what, Hollis and Seth Joyner, now friends with Big Sills. What an honor. Those guys are just absolutely – for you guys to understand something, too. Hollis played 12-plus seasons in the National Football League, and he's not drafted. He's supposed to be a guy that's holding a bag, okay, and then getting shipped out of town. Those guys don't make teams. You don't play 12 years in the National Football League. You don't. You just don't play like that. I mean, very seldom do you see a guy like Tony Romo, for instance. Tony Romo not being drafted and holding every single Dallas Cowboy passing record is unbelievable. Now, some of you will go like this, well, Romo sucked. No, he didn't. Undrafted, no draft equity. You didn't have to pay him any money for 2 years. That guy, he completely overachieved in his career. Guys, Kurt Warner, cut 5 times. Turns out to be a Hall of Famer. Talk about overachieving. Those are the kind of guys you sit there, and I tell you this all the time, too. Half the league is made up of those guys, too, man. I'll tell you something about Hollis, man. He was a rough dude when it came to playing the run. Spectacular. All right, we'll reset. I have a question for you, and it surrounds the Kyler Murray, and it kind of brings into focus a little bit of Jalen Hurts. Brand new contract that Kyler Murray signed. We're going to hit on that, how that affects the guy in Baltimore, and also Jalen Hurts moving forward. Please hit the like button. Hour 2. Keep it right here on the National Football Show.
Go for the pulls and the pools. Go for the oohs and the ahs. Go for the bubbles and the bubbly. Go for the story and the stories. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
At Action News, we cherish every moment, and it's our profound responsibility to bring you closer to your world. Never miss a moment. Trust the people at Action News.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that. Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Hour 2, National Football Show. Please hit the like button. Thank you guys so much for coming aboard. By the way, over on my Twitter page is a great picture of Buddy Ryan. I had forgotten Buddy Ryan came down to our practice his first year as a head coach in Philly. Jimmy Johnson sent me the picture last night. And Buddy came down. This is after it was the 86th season, I believe, was his rookie season as head coach of the Eagles, if I'm not mistaken. I think he won 5 games that year or something. And him and Jimmy were friends. Seth texted me and he goes, I never knew Coach Johnson and Buddy Ryan were friends. Oh, my God, they were. They became enemies when he coached the Cowboys. But Buddy used to come down to our practices, and I completely forgot about it. And Jimmy reminded me, don't you remember what he did with you guys? So listen to this. This is incredible. Coach Jimmy Johnson reminded me of this. Buddy Ryan, who had just left the Chicago Bears and the 46 defense, he came down, Butch Davis, Dave Wannstedt, and Jimmy. And he got all of us together, our 86 defensive line, which is considered the greatest line in Miami Hurricane history. And he just looked at us and he goes like this. The reason we dominated in Chicago was because I had McMichael, Hampton, Dent, and I had those dudes. We were able to do a variety of things with blitzes, with Singletary, with Rivera, with Wilbur, and Plank and all them guys because our front four guys owned the game. Every game, we owned it. This catching and this Jonathan Gannon style of defense, that soft play stuff was completely foreign to a guy like Buddy. We sat there with him for a full 3 hours, and Buddy Ryan showed us the 46 defense. And he said, I'm going to be implementing these shades, which eventually, guess what? Jerome was there at Miami at the time. And he ends up taking Jerome and myself and Stubbs to lunch. And he says, you guys can dominate football. We did. And can you imagine? We were coached by Buddy Ryan for a full day, 3 hours, giving us technique I used. And we were enamored. And so was Butch, our D-line coach. Jimmy was like this. He was teaching us different types of shades on how you can line up and tilt yourself where it'd be impossible for the guard to catch you automatically. He was showing us the 46 on what made the 46. The reason they called it the 46 is because you had to have a great safety. We had Benny Blades. And he says, you guys can run this 46. So we called it Kane's G, but it was the Buddy Ryan 46 we ran. And Coach sitting there with us, man, and him going like this, you guys should eat like dogs. He goes, I watched game film on all four of you guys. Nobody should block you guys. And they didn't that year. Nobody blocked us. I think we gave up 1.2 yards per rush. I think we gave up like 7 points. Not even, maybe like 5 points a game or some shit like that. We're the number one defense in the country. And he was like, he came, what was great about Buddy Ryan, by the way, that picture is on my Twitter page at Dan Sileo Show. That 3 hours just shows you how crazy smart some of these guys are compared to others. I mean, you could be in a room with a guy for 3 years, not learn a thing. You could be in a room with a guy like Buddy Ryan, and you're in the room for 3 hours with the guy. Let alone this, I forgot we were on the field for 3 hours. Then he took us in the film room the next day. And before he left, we sat in the film room with him for about 2.5 hours. So I had 2 days of coaching from Buddy Ryan, who would go on and build that Eagle defense and Gang Green. And all the things that he implemented for you guys in Philly, it started in Miami when he came down in the preseason. Even before his camp started, I think he came down for spring ball. That's when he came down, when he was named the head coach. He came down because he wanted to see how we ran that 43 and how, because we were so aggressive, and Jimmy was so aggressive with that 43. And he wanted to see some variations off it. Him and Jimmy were great friends, man. And that's why when that whole rivalry took off, I was kind of shocked because I had seen Buddy Ryan around our practices a lot. Him and Jimmy talked a lot. Dude, Buddy's one of the greatest defensive coaches. Even Seth, like I told you, I text Seth. Seth Joyner goes like this, Sills, I never knew Jimmy was friends with the guy. I'm like, yeah, man. I mean, I always was shocked the other way that they were enemies at the end because he was always there at practice with us. Shit, we'd look up, Switzer's there, Turno's there, Holtz would be there, Buddy Ryan would be there, Bud Carson would be there. I mean, we'd see some of the coaches that were in the NFL and constantly down at our practices just watching us play because they couldn't believe how hard we played. So, yeah, I had completely forgotten. And Coach Johnson reminded me, don't you remember Buddy coaching you guys for a couple of days? One of the greatest educations. He brought all these coaches. Bud Carson came in one year, and they were teaching us the steel curtain defense. Buddy came in. This was all like just sitting, and he would have these coaches sit down with us or on the field. And you know what was great about us? we listen to him because there's Buddy Ryan. This guy created the 46 defense. And why wouldn't we listen? And I remember him getting out, guys, you got to run to the ball, son. You want to make a play? Run to the ball. You don't want to make a play? Run to 7-Eleven. He's talking to our guys, and Jimmy started laughing. I'm going, he's right. Oh, man. Ryan won a Super Bowl with the Bears. He had just done that and got the Eagle job and came down and saw us. Dad says, Buddy created the greatest defense ever with the Bears. Dude, can you imagine going from the Bears defense that you created in Chicago, and then you create that defense in Philadelphia? I mean, do you ever remember Buddy Ryan not being around a great defense? I mean, one thing you could count on with that dude is going to have killers on that side of the ball who are going to knock the shit out of you. And he did, man. I sent Mike Missinelli that picture too, man. Mike goes, holy cow, look at Buddy, dude. I'm like, I know, right? Really great, man. Those Buddy Ryan teams were great defenses, no offense. Yeah, Fly, you know why? Because Norman Brayman didn't want to pay. By the way, Norman Brayman drove Buddy to that practice. Norman Brayman lives in South Florida still to this day, and I know Norman. And God forbid, man, if he ever saw some of the shit that you guys say about him right now, this guy's the biggest Cadillac dealer in the history of the United States, right? And he drove Buddy to our practice. He tried hiring Jimmy Johnson to be the Eagle coach first. And Jimmy didn't want to do it. He didn't have enough. He didn't think Norman Brayman was a good owner. That's why I never told you guys that story. Let me see. You think I should tell the story about Jimmy and the Eagle head coaching job? Okay. It's old news. Okay, I'll tell it to you. Who was the guy that got the team in trouble financially before Norman? He was Vermeil's owner. Who was the guy that owned the team? What was that guy's name that owned the team before Norman? He got the team in trouble with gambling or something like that. I forget. He got him toes. That's it. Manster, check it out. So this guy has to sell the team. And the NFL and Pete Rozelle go to Norman Brayman. He's one of the richest guys. Leonard Toes, that's it. Hey, listen to this. They begged Norman Brayman to buy the Eagles. He wanted in anyway. Okay? He knew that the Robbies would never sell the Dolphins. He tried buying in as a percentage owner. The Robbies never wanted to do it. He just didn't want to do it. They didn't want him involved in it. And so they begged him. That's when they were like, he goes, okay. So I forget the number he bought the team for. And when he took it over, the whole thing was a complete, absolute, utter train wreck. Okay, financially. And he gets in there and he does everything shoestring. Norman does everything shoestring. I think what he loved the fact he owned the team, but it was never really a priority for him. He was always in France, or he was always like overseas. He was never really involved. He just let the football people run the thing. He didn't care, but he just kept telling them, make sure you don't spend a lot of money. Well, they built that team through the draft because they had to. And after a while, Buddy kept calling up the owner going, hey, we need to get Jim Lachey, or we need to get some old linemen in here. We need to spend some money on re-signing. That's why Buddy started going like this. You had a guy in France. It started going like this. It unraveled quickly. Hey, I had a guy in France. The guy in France, man. Call the guy in France. See if we can get an old lineman. Yeah, the guy in France, Bob. Hey, see you. Hey, call the guy in France. Yeah, we got to figure out how to get some money in here. He would never spend a cent. And when Norman finally said, that's enough, I can't keep up with the times because the salaries were going up, that's how Jeffrey Lurie got the team. Yep. And you know what? Jeffrey Lurie, to this day, and I got to give him a lot of credit for one thing. Jeffrey Lurie said that the Philadelphia Eagles will never be in a position where they will not have one of the top O-lines in the National Football League. And he's held to that. They have had, in my opinion, since 1995 or 4, whatever it was, when he got control of the team, the Eagles have always been good up front. And when Norman Brayman and Toes owned it, they were miserable up front. Well, they were better when Vermeil took the team to the Super Bowl in 80. They were pretty good up front when they went. And they had a great back in Montgomery and a good wide receiving core. That's probably the last time was that 80 team until Lurie got the team in 1985, I think it was. 94, was it? Okay. Seth, I do think Jeffrey Lurie's a good owner. I do. I think he's a good owner. I think he loves Philly. I think he's economically, I'm not going to say cheap, but I think he is frugal with the dough. Okay. You know what, Seth? I think frugal is a better word because he just spent $100 million, and he did go after Alshon Jeffries, and he did give Carson Wentz that contract when he didn't have to. You know what I mean? I mean, there are signs, especially even with the free agent bombs that they've had. He has spent money, man. Not the Asamoah and them dudes who just bombed. He has spent money in the past. So I can't say he's cheap. Frugal, I guess maybe it's a sexy word for cheap, but I wouldn't put that tag on him. Okay, I wouldn't put that tag on him. I think he's a community guy too, GT. I listen, man. I do. I don't think the Eagles have a problem in ownership. You know, every owner gets in the way a little. You just have to understand it's their toy and they have a right to. Just as long as you're not like Jerry, where you're constantly tripping people in your organization. It's not that the Cowboys can't get out of their own way. Jerry throws himself in the way. And they're constantly tripping over him. That's the problem in Dallas. The coaches, the assistants, the personnel people are constantly tripping over the owner of the Cowboys. You know, he'll say something. He'll undervalue a guy. He'll say something publicly about a coach that undermines the coach's authority in the locker room. That's the kind of stuff you don't need, man. Let the coach coach. Let the personnel people. Sometimes people can't just leave well enough alone. You know what I mean? And that's what happens. But I think the owner of the Eagles has been a good owner, man. I do. Community guy, loves the city. It was a great moment when they were able to hoist the Lombardi Trophy on Broad Street. I mean, to see all that, it was one of the greatest moments, if not the greatest moments, in Philadelphia sports history. 2018, when you guys won the Super Bowl, and that 17 season, and you guys raised that trophy, 1980, the Phillies, 83, the Sixers, the back-to-back titles with the Flyers. There's no doubt. I mean, you have to go back to Chet Walker, 67 with Wilt. That Wilt team with Chet Walker was a phenomenal basketball team. I think they won 69 games, 68 games. That was probably one of the better teams in the city's history. But it has to be that Eagle championship that they won. That is the greatest moment in the history of the Philadelphia city when it comes to their sports. I would say it again. 68 win Sixer team in 67. The Flyer back-to-backs, the 80 Phillies, the 83 Sixers, and the the 2017 Eagles. 08 Phillies, too. You got to throw them in there. Absolutely. Yep. You got to throw the 08 Phillies in there, too. They beat the Rays in the series. Absolutely. Yep. Didn't Roy Halladay pitch did he pitch a perfect game in that playoff run? Or was that a couple years later that he pitched that perfect game? I thought he did it against the Cardinals. That he pitched that perfect game in the playoffs. What was that year that Halladay threw that perfect game? Was it? That was a great moment, too. Halladay threw that perfect game. Was it against the Cardinals? Oh, no-hitter? Was it no-hitter, Bob? What year? I forget what year Halladay threw that. Pitched a no-hitter in 08. Okay. Yeah, during that run. 08 Phillies. Whew. Only him and Larson, right? Postseason, no-hitters. That's another great moment. Yeah, man. No-hitter in 08. Thanks, Seth. Laurie's a good owner when he stays out of the situations. But at the end of the day, he lost one Super Bowl in almost 30 years, and I can be as magical as it wants, but it's just one. Hey, Savvy, you should have that attitude. You should always want more. Absolutely. Hey, Daz, Halladay dying too. We lived in Orlando, and I knew where he lived with his family. He dies in that experimental airplane. You'll have to clue me in on that one, because I never got that. Why would you put that on the line in an experimental airplane and you're Roy Halladay? That guy was, I don't know, man. They retired his number a couple years back, right? Didn't they? I thought I saw that they retired his number. Anyway, let's move on here. So the news of the day, is Kyler Murray getting the $230.5 million contract, $160 million guaranteed, 5-year deal. He's the second highest paid player in the National Football League now, behind Aaron Rodgers. And I want to throw something out at you. And you know what, guys? Maybe this goes into, and by the way, you know what else I think this does? You know what I think this does too? Hey, Xander, your boy Bryce Young has a chance now. Kyler Murray's 5'11". And he just got $230 million over 5 years. You know what that makes me feel? If I'm Jalen Hurts and I'm Bryce Young, I'm feeling pretty good about that. I'm feeling pretty good. Okay? I'm feeling pretty good about that. So you just signed a guy, $160 million guaranteed, 230.5, and he's 5'11"? Okay. I feel pretty good there. Well, let me show you something here. And I saw this stat. And Seth loved coming on yesterday. By the way, he just said thank you. We thank him. By the way, we cannot wait for that post-game show. I want to show you guys something here. Listen to this. These are the salaries. Somebody sent this to me. These are the salaries of the top 10 quarterbacks in the National Football League. Wait a minute, Mike. This kind of tells us a little bit. Since 2018, here are the salaries and the average salary for a starting top 10 quarterback in the NFL. 2018, 26.6 per season was the going rate for a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, considered franchise. 2019, 30.5. Average top 10 quarterback made $30 million, almost $31 million. 2020 pandemic, $34.6 million for a top 10 quarterback. Look where it's gone from already. It's gone from 26 to 34.6 in just 2 years. 2021, last year, the average salary for a top 10 franchise elite quarterback, 36.4. Within 4 years, it's gone up $10 million in average salary for a top 10 elite guy. So you go from 26.6 to $36.6 million in 4 years. This year, get this, it goes up pretty high. 2022, the average salary for a top 10 NFL quarterback is $42 million. In 5 years, it's gone from 26.6 to $42 million. That number is going to hit at least 45 this coming off season. In 2024, you're talking about $50 million guaranteed for base salary for a top 10 elite quarterback. $50 million on what you're going to pay for the top 10. Now, who are the top 10? Top 10 guys, watch this. Here, $42 million is the base salary this year. Okay? I want to show you guys something. So look at that number, man. Those numbers aren't, an NFL guy sent me that. So my point to you is, NFL standings. I want to show you guys something here, okay? Are you going to pay Josh Allen $42 million? Yes. Am I going to pay Mac Jones $42 million? Really? Am I going to pay Mac Jones $42 million or $50 million when his contract's up? No way. He better show him. Mac Jones hasn't shown me enough to go like this. I'm gonna pay that guy $50 million. I don't care what the going rate is. It's got to be productive, though. You can't just do this, guys. Well, it's the going rate, Sills. Well, shit, you got to be producing something. You got to be producing something. How about this? You got to at least let me say this. I can win a Super. How about this? Let me ask you guys this. You think Mac Jones can deliver a Super Bowl for the New England Patriots? I don't even know who he's throwing to. Xander says absolutely. Can you name me one wideout on the team? One. Name me one guy. Does Hunter Henry still play there? That says yes. Would we agree? You're going to pay him. You're going to pay that guy when his contract's up $50 million. Wow. Holy cow. I think this really makes this decision and these decisions even harder in what we're talking about here. Josh Allen, of course I'm going to do that, okay? Miami, Tua, never. Never. Kyler got a losing record and lost his only playoff game. Yeah, what is he, 25? I look at Kyler Murray and I look at Mac Jones. Funny, I don't see Mac Jones as talented as Kyler Murray. Okay? I feel better saying Kyler Murray can. What was New England before Mac Jones got there? They haven't won a playoff game in 3 years also. They're not going to win one this year because they're not going to the playoffs. What was Arizona before Kyler Murray showed up? They were nobody. Tua. You think Tua's getting 42? Forget about it. Zach Wilson? Boy, I'll tell you, I have no clue. But I'm not even having that conversation with that kid. I'm having more of a conversation. I hear you like experience. Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow. You think I'm paying Joe Burrow $50 million? Damn right. It ain't going to be in Cincinnati, though. Joe Burrow's probably going to command. When Joe Burrow's contract is up in 2 years, good grief. $400 million? $500 million? $54 million a year? Dude, I would hand – here, watch this. Can I tell you what I would do to Joe Burrow? Here's a check. Fill it in. Here's a check. Fill it in. Right? Hey, Xander goes, I'm saying 60, Sills. Fill it in. I'm going to give – hey, Xander, I'm going to give him a blank check. A-Rod's at 55, and he's 38. That's right, man. He's 38, and he's got $55 million he's going to make this year. He's the highest paid dude in the league. Yeah, man. Are you really at the end? How much? Hey, at the end of this year, at the end of this season, let's go by all you guys who are all pro Jalen Hurts. 3,900 yards, 25 touchdowns. I'll be kind, 8 picks, win the division, get the team into the divisional round and get bounced. Let me ask you this. Are you addressing Jalen Hurts' contract at the end of this year if he does those things? How much you paying him? How much you paying him? Takeem says for Burrow, 60 mil for 8 years. You're going to average 60 million bucks over 8 years. God forbid, man. You're going to have to write a guy, and you're going to have to make that guy a percentage owner of the Browns because I can't see Mike Brown. I can't see Mike Brown opening up that wallet that has a zipper on it. You know how some owners have zippers on their wallet? You know them old school zipper wallets? Mike Brown still has one of them old school zipper wallets. Puts a zipper on it, man. Dude ain't opening up, man. You think he's paying Joe Burrow $60 million? He can't even pay this kid Bates the money. He can't even pay Jesse Bates the money he wants. You're going to pay Joe Burrow $60 million. If he's smart, he does. Hey, did you see what the Bengals started doing today? They're working on an indoor facility so that they could practice indoors now. You know who built that? Joe Burrow built that. You think the quarterback stiffs in Cincinnati that were there before him, you think built anything around that? You better take advantage completely of Joe Burrow in that city. Dude, I'd build a dome stadium in Cincinnati right now. I'd put a dome on it. Hey, who do you think built that Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis? Jim Irsay? Do you know what fans do today? Hey, do you know what fans do? They cheer at games and build stadiums for NFL owners. That's what you guys are to them. You cheer your favorite team and you guys build stadiums. Think about how they look at you. That's all they see in you. You build stadiums and cheer at them. I mean, how great of a fan base is that? You get to build my house, I get to live in it, and you get to mow my lawn. Hey, Daz, go mow my lawn. Yeah, Lincoln Financial needs the lawn mowed. Go mow it. Yeah. Right? You're going to franchise tag Jalen Hurts at the end of this year? I wonder what another team will give Hurts if he gets to the NFC Championship game. Well, what do you think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to get? Jimmy Garoppolo got to a Super Bowl. What do you think Garoppolo's going to get with his new team? Jim Irsay's a drug dealer. Look at Earl. Old head, you keep it real. What? I don't even know what that means, Earl, but I like it. Dion goes, the Bills want taxpayers to build the new stadium. Of course they do. You think a millionaire is going to buy his own building? No, he's going to make you buy it for him, and he's going to live in it. Wouldn't you like to have that? Have some billionaire build you a house, and you get to live in it for free. Classic NFL. And then you got to pay PSLs to hopefully stand in line to get tickets to the thing you built. What a web they weave, man, on you. It makes no sense. So, wait a minute. I cheer and I build stadiums, and the PSLs I got to pay to stand in line to hopefully get a ticket for a stadium I help finance with taxpayer money. Fans in the NFL don't care. They don't see that. Okay? They don't see that because you know why? They take advantage of your passion. That's what they do. Old head, you keep it real. Look at what underdog. Oh, he'll be benched. Hurts will finish this season on the bench, and then we can finally be done with this nonsensical waste of time. Wow. So records. You think Hurts sucks, huh? You don't think he's the face of the franchise? Dude, I'm not giving Jalen Hurts $40 million on anything. That guy is not a $40 million quarter. And I don't care what market value is. Market value for top 10, dude, first you got to be a top 10 type passer. Those are all the top 10 guys are passers. Now, Kyler Murray is here. Let me ask you this. If Kyler Murray's worth 40, what is it? 46 million per? What are you paying Lamar? Davey Boy goes, hey, Sills, did you get a mysterious tweet today? I'm not sure what that means. I get mysterious tweets all the time. Sills, is this you? At Dan Sileo show, I get crazy tweets from people. Sills, did you say this? Probably not. There are so many dopey tweets out there that supposedly I said that aren't true. It's not mind-numbing. If Kyler can make that money Jalen Hurts is worth just about – Yuri says that Jalen Hurts is worth the same money that Kyler Murray is. There's the topic I'm looking for. There's the topic I'm looking for. That's the topic. Okay. Kyler Murray, $46 million per. And Xander, he's pretty much done. Would we agree, Xander, that Kyler Murray's pretty much accomplished the same stuff that Jalen's accomplished? No, wait a minute. Arizona hasn't won a division. Oh, they didn't win the division. The Cowboys did, but they did get to the playoffs. Kyler got to the playoffs. So pretty much the same, correct? I don't even know how I'm going to say that one. Xander's like, Murray's not that hot, but he's way better than Hurts. Oh, man. Thanks, Xander. That helped. I'm trying to have a normal conversation here, and here's this. He sucks, dude. Why are you doing this? That's a big deal, man. Kyler Murray getting that money. That's a big deal. If we get the Super Bowl, I will give Hurts a team-friendly deal as Patrick Mahomes did. Patrick Mahomes' team-friendly deal is $500 million. Okay? GT. The friendly deal is $500 million, though. Murray isn't worth that money, let alone Hurts. GT, Seth, thank you. And they lost in the first round. You don't get paid for what you already done. Those checks are yeah, you are. You think Kyler Murray's being paid? Well, that's a good point. You get paid on what you so you think Arizona's projecting him out what he's going to be based on what he did or based on what they've seen. I like that. I want to hit on that. Okay? I want to hit on that. I like that. I think you guys are onto something there. Have you seen enough in Jalen to put him in that conversation, though, of Kyler Murray? My friends at Morgan & Morgan, where the fee is free. Folks, if you've been hurt or injured on the job, finding an attorney is one of the most important things that you can possibly do. For the people, it is not a slogan. This is who they are. This is what they are. Last 30 years, they've collected over $13.5 billion for their clients. There's no such thing as a fender bender when you go and you sign up with Morgan & Morgan. They're the number one attorney firm in the country, and they will be there for you when it comes to protecting your family. With over 800 attorneys strong in offices in Philly, New York, and in Florida, Morgan & Morgan is there to represent you to the best. And I'm going to say this to you, too. There's no such thing as a fender bender at Morgan & Morgan. Call them at 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. The call is free. The consultation is free. Open 24/7, 7 days a week. 800-512-1600. And when you call Morgan & Morgan, do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
When choosing a lawyer for your injury case, you may ask, does the size of the law firm matter? Well, of course it does. The insurance company, they're huge with unlimited resources. And whether your case is big or small, they're built to bully you out of the money you're owed. But here's the good news. We're big too, the biggest actually. And we're built to fight to make them pay for all that was taken from you. Size is our strength. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Go for the polls and the pools. Go for the oohs and the ahs. Go for the bubbles and the bubbly. Go for the story and the stories. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
At Action News, we cherish every moment, and it's our profound responsibility to bring you closer to your world. Never miss a moment. Trust the people at Action News.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on three. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that. Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
I don't know what this show has done for Big Sills here, but I have no idea. So I get a message from Atlanta. I'm going to play it for you. By the way, I don't know this guy from a can of paint. And I'm going to share it because I shared things with you here. Okay? Sills back on roids. No. Who says I was on roids? What do you mean you're not allowed? It's my phone. To play a message without consent. They play messages on the TV all the time. Without consent. By the way, I give consent. I don't think he's going to mind. I really don't. This is cool, though. This is cool. And I think he would like it. This is cool, man.
Hey, Dan, this is Dan Radakovich, AD at the University of Miami. Hope you're doing great. I was just giving you a call just to check in, see how you're doing. If you have a chance, this is my cell, 404.
That we won't do. So the athletic director at the University of Miami wants to have a conversation with me. That's pretty cool. And he comes over from Clemson. I have no idea who he is. Okay, but I'm very proud. That's really dope. So the athletic director wants to have a conversation with me about the program. By the way, Xander, aren't they at the ACC Media Day? Isn't that what's going on right now? Oh, by the way, the Marriott, dude, you know what's funny? The only interview college-wise that does anything. Hey, Xander, right? The only interview that does shit when it comes to those college coaches, and no disrespect to the guy, last word on sports. I don't know. Hey, Xander, you know, you got to get over 100 views, dude. I don't mean that. That sounds so terrible. Okay. Hey, dude, that sounds so terrible, doesn't it? You got to get more views than Tone. By the way, Tone, I love you, man. You do great work, bro. He scrubbed from our. Xander went back and went like this. I don't think so. Oh, that's dope, dog. Can I tell you? Hey, wait a minute. You know why? My aunt's watching this, and I guarantee she's got a smile on her face from ear to ear. You know why? I was banned from the program. Yeah. I was banned. I was banned from going to the campus, showing up to games. And, you Eagle guys. Okay? Hey, Davey boy may have hit it. Sills, it's a call for dough, dude. Yeah, by Golden. Yeah. Wait a second. So you guys know, I was on a station that was the flagship of the University of Miami, and I was going off on that team. Thing sucks. I quit the postgame show live on the air, my last postgame show. And you know what? There's a general manager that works in the Philly market that I quit on the air. I'm not doing this. That school called him, the company, was really the center point of why I got fired down there in Miami, because my school did it. My school put the heat on. Al Golden. I was right. But you know what my wife said? My wife goes like this. Congratulations, you're right. You're at work. Great, Sills. Congratulations. Watch this. Your family can't eat, but hey, you were right. Hey, Xander, right? Watch this. Dan, congratulations, man. Your take was one of the best takes of all time. Thumbs up and kudos. Now we can't pay our rent. That's what happens in media. That's what totally happens in the media. You got to be smart like Angelo. Like Mike Missinelli. When you last that long and you have that much staying power, you got to be smart on how you get around the rough edges. I wouldn't put this together. Hey, Dan Sileo and gigantic brain cells. I'm more of a reactor. I really don't think 10 minutes ahead. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of those guys. Someone goes, do you think he has a plan? I don't think he thinks that far ahead. That's kind of who I am. Seth goes, Sills, you're a nut. You love the team, though, right? Oh, my God, with a passion. Okay? Why were you so mad? Hey, Xander, I wish you could play that rant. I really do, man. Why was I so mad? Because the team sucked and was underperforming, and I loved the thing. That's why when I'm talking about your Eagles, don't you guys love the team? Don't you guys want to win a Super Bowl every year? Don't you want to go 13-5 every year or 13-4 every year? Who the hell roots for 500? Nobody in their right mind roots for 500. I hate people and fan bases like that. Well, it was a solid year. Solid year. You're in the pros, man. That's why when you guys are giving Jalen credit for being 500 in Philly, Sills, he's a starting quarterback in his second year. So what? This is the pros. This is not the University of Buffalo or Temple. I mean, right. You want to be Lions fans, Browns fans, or Eagle fans? Hey, Jalen had a solid year. Solid year? Who roots for solid year? This is the National Football League, man. You're in a city that demands excellence. And when you accept less than, that's my problem. And when I play at a place where I lost one regular season game in 3 years, I got a problem with that. Yes, that's why I was so mad. When you lose one, hey, Xander, right? When you lose one regular season game in 3 years, you want to know why I'm mad? Well, you're going 7-5 every year. That's why I'm so mad. 5 losses? Do you understand we didn't lose a home game for a full decade at home? It'll never be broken. Ever. Alabama, everybody. 58 consecutive home wins will never be broken. I had 2 streaks of over 30 wins consecutively when I played or involved in them. What are you talking about? Why were you mad? Well, losing sucks. 58 consecutive home. That's 6 games a year at home most of the time, 5 or 6. Okay? 10 years we went like that. Nobody beat us at home. Nobody. And traditionally, the games weren't close unless it was FSU. Boy, are those days gone. FSU in Miami now? Randall's got the Eagles tattoo on his body armor. I love that, dog. Hey. Oh, I never showed you. There's Big Sills. 93, 86 Canes. Can I tell you why? I got 86 Canes. Because you know why? That year is considered the greatest football team in the history of the program. We got upset by Mike Missinelli's Penn State guys. You know what it teaches me? Because the next year we go on to win the national title. You know what it teaches me? Finish the job. I have the 86 Canes on my armor. You know why? It reminds me to finish the job. We didn't finish the job that year. Jerome and I sat in that locker room looking at each other saying, we're going to be old men. Unfortunately, Jerome never got a chance to be an old man. He goes, Sills, we're going to be old men and we're going to cry together on the phone. I said, you're damn right. I'll never forget this night. Never. So I put that on my arm. Kind of in honor of him, too, a little bit. Okay? Sills, that's the year I was born. Great year. Good night. Randall. Sills, I know they underperformed, but Golden had a lot working against him. Donna Shalala was terrible as a administrator. Okay? Wanted to make Miami Stanford. Bob, you're dead on. And you're right. You're right. Okay? I think she was worse than Tad Foote. But isn't that boss? I now have the athletic director at the University of Miami who was at Clemson and built that Clemson team up with Dabo Swinney. And I don't know him from a can of paint. I've never spoken to him. But as soon as I end my show, I'm going to call him. Guy gave me a cell phone number. Because, hey, get this too, Xander. You know what they're talking about me doing? Being hired as an ambassador to the team. And no. I think they want me to do some post-game show for them. Like on Saturdays. I said, we'll think about it. You start going 8-4, man. I don't care if you're Mario or not. I don't know if I can I don't know if I can handle that kind of stuff. Oh, we're going to reset. Top of the hour. I want to talk about what you guys said about how you pay Jalen. On what you think he can do or what he's done and what you think Kyler Murray has been paid on. Hey, Dak Prescott and Kyler Murray, I think those are fair benchmarks to compare Jalen Hurts to. I think those guys are. Sills, out of all the quarterbacks in the NFL, which QB fits the Eagles roster right now? Josh Allen. Hey, Jess, if you had Josh Allen on your football team, hey, Xander, what would the record be if Josh Allen was a quarterback for the Eagles? 17-0? No, dude, I really believe the Eagles would be 17-0. I think you would threaten being undefeated and winning the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl game would be tough because the AFC has got some good quarterbacks. Okay? Dude, hey, Jess, if you had Josh Allen, I'm pretty much thinking that thing might be over. Allen or Burrow? Okay, that's enough of this. I got to take a timeout because you guys are really all awesome. Thank you so much. Hey, man, I really got put in a good mood. My school loves me again. By the way, my Mario Cristobal interview is absolutely smoking. Xander, we get him on. He works, doesn't he? Hey, get this. University of Miami? Who would have thought? Works in Philly. It does. The thing is doing great. So, hey, Seth Joyner's killing it, too, if you missed that interview yesterday. By the way, we had Hollis Thomas. Can I tell you who I'm working on for you guys tomorrow? Should I tell him, Xander? I'll tell you on the other side. I think you'll like it. Hit the like button. Hour 3. Keep it right here on the National Football Show.
Go for the pulls and the pools. Go for the oohs and the ahs. Go for the bubbles and the bubbly. Go for the story and the stories. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
At Action News, we cherish every moment, and it's our profound responsibility to bring you closer to your world. Never miss a moment. Trust the people at Action News.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that. Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Welcome back. National Football Show. Big Sills. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. Please hit the like button. Yeah, that's who that was, man. The athletic director at the University of Miami. Great. I have a Zoom from 5:30 to 6:30 Eastern. Try me if you can. 7 or Friday. You got it. Thank you so much, Dan. Fantastic. I got a feeling. I think they're going to try to do some stuff with Sills on their pre- and post-game show. That's good stuff, man. I'll let you guys know. You guys will be the first to know. First time, it's the first time the athletic director has called Big Sills. What a good thing in a long time. There you go, Xander. Things must be really picking up at the U or going the other way at the U. We'll surely find out. Anyway, thank you so much for stepping in with us. We're going to reset here in a minute. And hey, right? Okay, good stuff, man. So we could be doing some stuff here on Saturday, Monday through Friday, maybe even some Sunday stuff too. You're not going to believe this. The Buccaneers have actually asked me, and I said, I don't know about doing the Bucs. I'm really knee deep into the Eagles stuff right now, and I don't think the Bucs stuff is going to go. Can you imagine me? Watch this. So I covered the Eagles Monday through Saturday, right? And then I talk Bucs on Sunday. I don't know. I don't think it's believable. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't think it's believable, and I don't like to come off like that. This guy covers the Eagles all day. Then he's talking Bucs. Minshew's a better quarterback. Sorry. Come on, Daz. Hey, Sills, what do you think about Josh Sweat this season? I like him, but you know what, Slasher? I think he's got to turn into an every down defensive lineman. You know what I'm saying? I got to be able to play him on first and third, Dude, you got to be able to play on first down, third down. You know what I mean? I don't want to situationally play the guy. I think he's got to be more. I'll tell you what, I think Milton Williams has more versatility. I do. That's exactly what I was thinking. Slasher, he's just, I don't want to situationally play the guy. Like Milton Williams, you could play him in a 5 technique, a wide 7 even. Then you could drop him in a 3. You could even put him over the nose. Guy's a 500-pound bencher. I like his feet, too, inside. I like him. I do. I like him. Oh, you guys want to know who I'm working on for tomorrow? It's not. I've reached out to him, Xander. Brian Westbrook. Okay? I'm working on Brian Westbrook. Let's hope we can get him. Hey, he's one of these guys. Well, let me see, man. Is there any money involved? And in the end, there's no money involved. It's just big sales and goodwill. Xander goes to get back to you in 3 weeks. No. Hey, Xander, it's more like this. Is there fun price tag about it? No, this is goodwill, dude. Okay? This is goodwill. He's like, what's that? Is that something you drop like? Yeah, I'll do it for 10 grand, bro. Hey, Xander, I'll do it for 10 grand. We only want you for 15 minutes. Oh, man. Only 15 minutes, dude. 15. Okay? 10 grand. And it doesn't really work like that. Boy, do I like him, though, man. Boy, if the Eagles had Brian Westbrook on this ball team, Jalen Hurts would throw for 4,000 yards. Hey, get this. Maybe that's what's missing. Okay? We talked with Hollis in the first hour. Maybe that's what this O's missing is a pass-catching running back. Brady has always had them dudes. Sony Michel, name them. All those guys up there in New England, even Leonard Fournette now, that guy caught passes. You have to have a pass-catching running back in today's league, in my opinion. And the Eagles don't have. It's almost like it's non-essential part of the offensive attack. Why? Especially, don't you think this would help Jalen? Hey, watch this. This is Sills talking good about Jalen. Don't you think this would be better? Jalen drops back. He can't find a guy. Here. 3 yards. So that's one thing Carson Wentz hasn't learned yet is the word so. He only gained 2 yards. And as long as it's not a negative yard, I don't care. Because the NFL, when you're trying to win games, patience is the most important thing a quarterback can have when you're trying to win a ball game. You're not trying to win. Here's the difference between Carson Wentz and the great quarterbacks in the league. Carson Wentz is trying to win every drive. Tom Brady's trying to win the game. Wentz thinks he has to score on every freaking drive. Every series has to be great. Man, you're crazy if you think you're getting that. You're going to have more 3-and-outs in a ball game than you are completions. You better get used to that if you're going to play that position in the league. And Wentz hasn't figured that out. He thinks he has to win every series. Holds on to the ball. He's not very good at football protection. Gets it slapped out of his hands, sack, whatever. Before you know it, you're down 7 or 3 because the guy was a nut job back there just not throwing it in the stands because he doesn't get patience. Patience is the whole thing here. By the way, a running back with potential to give you screen plays and plus yardage plays is so essential in moving the sticks. You know, Matt Rule hasn't been able to implement his offense in Carolina. Why is that? Because McCaffrey's been hurt the entire time almost. He's been down there. GT, you're dead on. The problem, I think, Jalen, and they pull it out of the playbook, is because I don't think Jalen's very good at it. How many times do you watch some Alabama guys check down the running backs, throwing in that offense to running backs? Not too often. Not when you got them squirrels running around out there like Calvin Ridley and Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, and those guys are running all over the place. Looks like squirrels going up a tree. You're watching these guys and you're like, you ain't checking down on anything with them guys. You know how squirrels look crazy when they're running up a tree? That's what you get in that Alabama offense. They're just going everywhere, and you're like, you're not checking out of that. They're telling you, hey, he's going to be open in the flat. Throw it to him because those other guys are going to clean everything else out for you. Oh, okay. So I got Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle on both ends. And I got that old line in front of me, and I got a back like a Najee Harris or Derrick Henry. I'm not checking down to anybody. Check down. For what? Right? Miles Sanders can't catch. That's why he's not getting extended, Fly. That's why he's not getting extended. Watch this. Fly. Can Miles Sanders gain 1,100 yards? Yeah. But I think they could put anybody back and get 1,000 yards. Can Miles Sanders be a DeAndre Swift? Can he get 80 catches? You know? Did Hurts take some of Miles' zone runs? Probably. Keith Gainwell can do it. I think you're probably going to see more of him in it. I sure hope they're working on that part of the screen game. Hey boy, Gardner Minshew, first 19 games, 395 completions, 650 attempts, 60.7 in completion percentage, 43.92, 29, 7. But Davey, let me ask you, he's doing that in Jacksonville in cleanup time when they're down by what, 40? Is that in games where they're competitive? I don't want to see Davey boy, I'm not saying they're not. I don't know. Okay? All I'm saying is that are they empty calorie stats where we're looking at stats, like sometimes how Dak has those stats. Dak puts up a stat sheet, doesn't he? And you're like, Jesus Christ, those for 500 yards. And then you look up and you're like, yeah, he got beat by 20 though. Right? Every time I watch a game sometimes with Dak Prescott, like that Denver game, you go like this. God, he threw for 385 yards and 3 touchdowns, but they got punked by 14. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't really, the 398 and 3 TDs doesn't mean anything to me if you're getting crushed. Every time I see some of them stats with Dak, I'm like, guy threw for 44, 39 last year. Wow. 37 touchdowns. They did win 12 ball games. But then again, the NFC East, wasn't very good last year outside of the Eagles. And let's be candid and fair. Really, nobody in the East threatened the Cowboys. Nobody in the East threatened Dallas. So it was an easy division last year. The Eagles never threatened them. The Monday night game was embarrassing, actually. Right? So let me get back into this topic that we were hitting on. So Kyler Murray gets 230.5. Second highest paid guy in the NFL. Okay. You think Dak can ever become Kyler Murray or Dak Prescott? I think Dak's making 42. Shit, pretty soon that's going to be a deal. Murray's making 46. Isn't that crazy? He's making $100,000 more than Deshaun Watson, just so he can have the tick up. Deshaun Watson's making 46. He's making 46.1. Okay. I think that's got something to do with cannoli size, you know? Who's got the biggest cannoli in the bakery? You know what I mean? I think somebody's there with that. So, you know what I mean? Right? 46.1. Hey, Sander goes, hey, Sills, you can have all the cannolis you want. The dude in Cleveland's all guaranteed. Bingo. Bingo. Of the 230, 160's guaranteed. Okay? 160's guaranteed. The guy in Cleveland, I'll take 230 guaranteed. Match my contract. Even Mahomes $500 million deal, right? That's not really all guaranteed. The guy in Cleveland's pretty much all guaranteed. $230 million. Over $250 million guaranteed to a dude that may get between 2 and 6 games this year suspended. They're going to bite on a little bit of pain. You know, they're going to have a little bit of agita. You know what agita is for all you Italians out there with the brioche, right? You're going to have agita for about 6 weeks in Cleveland. Ugh. Your stomach pain won't go away. What's the stuff? What do you have? I got Watsonitis. What do you mean? Yeah, I got this agita, man. I got heartburn, man. And it hurts right here. This Watsonitis, man. Here, remedy is this. It'll go away in 6 weeks. Okay, you'll be ready to rock in 6 weeks. You eat a cannoli, the Watsonitis will go away. You start winning games, you're going to be good. It's all good. Don't worry about it. So I got to have 6 weeks agita? Yeah. You knew you were going to have agita this year. You knew you were going to. Never competitive besides they went to the AFC Championship game. Not sure who you're talking about. I said the Eagles were never competitive in the Cowboy games. Okay? Look at Savvy. Jalen flies, Miles cries. He took carries away from. I don't care about Miles Sanders and how he feels. I could care less how he feels. I don't care how he feels about his targets, touches, his run zone things. I don't care. Has no bearing on my life. I'm eating Detroit-style pizza. Well, then you're going to have agita all year, William. If you're eating Detroit, you're pretty much going to have agita all year. Okay? Someone said the Jags are never competitive. Outside of the early years with Coughlin, a couple years back, Marone had him in the AFC Championship game. Outside of that, they've sucked. Okay? Seals, you think Saquon Barkley is traded this season? Lewis, for what? What would you trade for Saquon Barkley if you're the Giants? What do you think you're going to get back in return? You got a guy who's banged up all the time. He's never healthy. He's kind of productive. What would you give up for him? I'm not giving a 1 up for him, and I'm not giving a 2 up for him. And I'm probably not giving a 3 up for him. Running backs. So you want me to pay, and I'm not saying you do, but you want me to pay for a guy who the position clearly, when it comes to money, you get killed on every deal. Can you tell me a running back deal that you were happy with, that you thought was a good deal? Derrick Henry's deal, and remember this, he signed a franchise tag. What is it, 13, 14 million? This guy makes the same money Fletcher Cox makes. That's his franchise tag in Tennessee. Paying a guy like Derrick Henry $14 million a year, I'm going to be okay with that. Paying Zeke, I wouldn't have paid the $90 million over 5 or 6 years, whatever that deal was, that Dallas signed him with. Because he is, and his success is tied into that old line. Do you understand when you sign a running back nowadays, if your old line loses people, that running back value in that contract automatically declines. Zeke automatically declines because he's got lesser talent in front of him. Automatically. You sign a running back to a 2-year deal with an option at 15 per. All of a sudden, you got 3 old linemen contracts up. Do you know where all your millionaires are on your team, right, guys? You guys know where all your millionaires are. In your old line, there's 5 of them. You got 5 millionaires in one group. There's no other group that you pay that amount of money to. Your center, your 2 guards, your 2 tackles. Then you got backups you're paying $1 million to. All your millionaires are in your old line when it comes to grouping. What do you keep 7 of them? You got 7 millionaires there. Shit, Devontae Smith's not even making $1 million annually. That Zach Pascal kid's making more money annually than what Devontae's making. Do you know that? I would say this to you. Almost every single one of the old linemen make more money than Jalen Hurts annually. You ain't got one guy on that line making $1 million. Every one of those guys, they got to be north of 2.5, every one of them. Every one of those guys. And so when you pay a running back money, like look at Christian McCaffrey. He's got a shitty quarterback. His old line has been decimated with injuries and people just leaving. That guy has no chance. Hey, he grabbed his bag of money. And if you're a running back and somebody offers you a dumb deal, you should take the dumb deal. Sit there and eat it and go somewhere else and be productive, and you'll get less money, but at least you'll have a career. Because you'll never have a career making $20 million. Cowboys have an awful deal. I would do what Bill Parcells. You know what one of the things that Bill Parcells had? You know one of his greatest? Hey, Yale. Here's a rule Parcells had. He never drafted a running back in his entire coaching career. 3rd round or up. That includes Curtis Martin. Never. They were all Joe Morris, free agent Otis Anderson. They were all dudes like that. Veteran backs. Needed another shot. O.J. Anderson's probably his greatest back. He didn't believe in spending draft equity for them dudes. And he won 2 Super Bowls with that philosophy. Dave Meggett, right? Remember that guy, right? Dave Meggett, the Joe Morrises of the world. Those guys are just dudes. If Jalen could sit back, make the high percentage throws, only run when he's in trouble, the offense will be in good shape. Yeah. Look, here's the deal with Jalen. Just don't make the shitty play. Dude, don't make the play that costs you a game. Hey, and by the way, that goes to coaching. Remember, hey, Xander, I know you remember this. Do you remember that week I kept saying, don't lose to the Giants? Don't lose to the Giants. If I see 38 attempts, don't lose to the Giants. You can't be outplayed by Daniel Jones. You cannot be outplayed by Daniel Jones. And they were. Because they started feeling a little bit frisky in the passing game instead of sticking to what got them almost back to 500 at that time. That was running the ball. They got impatient. There were times last year where that coaching staff was incredibly impatient with Jalen, and it showed. They weren't patient. The Giant game solidified it. They stopped doing that after that. They weren't going to let him throw the ball 38 times a game. They were just not. Nor did he have to. However, you want to beat elite teams, you have to. You see, here's where Philly is right now. Philly's in the transition of doing this. And by the way, I think they've done a great job of it. From a 4-11-1 team to a team now that can beat up on the crappy teams. And there's a ton of them. And there'll be a ton of them this year. Like I said, in your tough games, you're going to go 3-4. And I think you're going to win potentially the rest of them. And maybe split somewhere in the line there with Washington. God forbid you split with the Giants. You don't want to split with New York. I don't mind splitting with Washington and Dallas. I mind splitting with the Giants. That team should not beat you. Okay? Washington up there. They got talent. They got coaching. Scott Turner's a good OC. Jack Del Rio's a good DC. He's just not a very good politician. Okay? They got coaching in that building. And there's some players in that building. Antonio Gibson can run the ball. Their old line's going to be better than you think, and I think the defense is going to step up from a failure of a year ago. I don't mind splitting with those guys. Can't split with the Giants. Got to beat that team soundly. And here's the deal. You can't get swept by the Cowboys again. You can't. As a matter of fact, you really can't get swept by any team this year in the East. Because then that's a step back, in my opinion. Swept Washington last year. I don't give a shit about Tyler Heineke and COVID and all that. You beat them up good. You split with the Giants, which was a train wreck. Hey, I got the Cowboys, even though I didn't like the fact the Eagles got beat up by the Cowboys. I didn't think you were going to beat them. Okay, but the Giant game was the worst game of the year last year because you should kill that team. You can't let Daniel Jones outplay you. If you're Jalen Hurts, Daniel Jones outplays you, Houston, there's a problem. Okay? I'd vote for Jack Del Rio. Okay, here we go. No politics. This is a sports show. You guys come here for pasta fazool and for thin crust Italian pizza. Thin crust. Thin. Colony pizza. Thin. Carson Wentz will be Carson Wentz. Dude, I think Carson Wentz throws for 4,000 yards up there. So I do think Carson Wentz will be Carson Wentz too. 27 touchdowns, 7 picks, 4,000 passing yards. Yeah, I think he's going to be that too. That's pretty much who he is. You look at his passer completion percentage outside of the 2020 season, which was a train wreck at 72% quarterback rating or 72.2 QBR. The rest of them are all been in the 90s or hundreds. He had 2 years in a row where he was 101, then 102. He's not as bad as you think he is. You just hate him. You see all the good things that you wanted to see in Jalen. You know what, Xander? Everyone? You see all the good things in Jalen Hurts that you wanted to see in Carson Wentz. And that's what rubs you the wrong way about Wentz. You wanted to see the great team leader. You wanted to see the great community guy. You wanted to see the guy who was always there when his teammates needed him. You always wanted him to be more open, be more part of Philly, be something like that, not be so self-centered. His play is self-centered. I don't know pretty much if he's self-centered as a human. I don't know him as a human. His play's self-centered. When you see him play, Carson Wentz, he's self-centered. It's around him, dropping the ball, holding on to it too long, not throwing it away. That's self-centered play. Brady does this. If Brady could kick it, he would. Seriously, if Brady could punt it, he would. He'd punt it in the stands. How many times you see Brady just throwing it away? Here's Wentz. Killed. Is that the top of the roof of the link? Wow, I hadn't seen that before. Oh, 99, that's Jerome. Let me get up. That guy Wentz has seen the top of the roof of the link more than what an earthworm has on that floor. Right? As long as the game doesn't really mean anything, Carson will play with Joseph. That's got to, man, he's totally got to change that around. Or guess what, man? You'll see him at 4 more stops in the next 6 years. He don't turn that around. You'll see him at 4 more places in the next 6 years. Okay, he'll be throwing a football up, collecting money. It's got to be robbing banks like Jesse James, but he'll be robbing the banks of NFL owners. Talk about a guy who made a ton of money. This guy's made a ton of money, man. Got to win something, dude. I've never hated Wentz. I just wanted him gone. However, he's a good quarterback. He's decent. He's not. I wouldn't go like this. Let me build my franchise around the guy. I want to get back onto that topic. I got sidetracked as I always do. I want to get back onto that with Kyler Murray and Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts. I want to do that here, but don't forget my friends at Morgan & Morgan where the fee is free. Guys, do me a favor, please. Make the call. If you've been hurt or injured on the job, this is the attorney firm that's going to get you the money that you and your family so need. For the people is not a slogan. It is exactly who they are. With the 30-year record that they have at Morgan & Morgan, they've collected over $13.5 billion worth of compensation for their clients. There's no such thing as a fender bender when it comes to Morgan & Morgan. And I promise you this, with their 800 attorneys strong all across the country in Philadelphia, New York, and in Florida, nobody will intimidate Morgan & Morgan. Call them at 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. Promise you, 24/7, 7 days a week. The call is free. The consultation's free. And when you call Morgan & Morgan, do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. When you're hit from behind in a car crash, the insurance company may try to say, you can't possibly be hurt. It was only a few miles an hour. It's simply not true. You see, here's the thing. Getting hit at 10 miles per hour is like falling off of this. 15 miles per hour, like this. And only 25 miles per hour, this. Injured, dial pound law. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
Go for the pulls and the pools. Go for the oohs and the ahs. Go for the bubbles and the bubbly. Go for the story and the stories. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
At Action News, we cherish every moment, and it's our profound responsibility to bring you closer to your world. Never miss a moment. Trust the people at Action News.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on three. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that. Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Welcome back. National Football Show. It's your boy Big Sills. Thank you so much, guys, for coming aboard with us. We really appreciate it. Thank you again. I can't wait for the upcoming season. 5 days away from the start of training camp, and there's so much going on, especially around our show. I mean, I got to tell you guys, I think a little secret here. I think Big Sills may be doing some broadcasting here again this year. I think we're going to be doing a little bit of it. Hopefully we play Bama. Hopefully we play Bama this year. By the way, what does Xander say? Hold on here. You don't want that guy. I'll get you fired. Hey, wait a minute, though. Guys. That puts me closer to Tyler Van Dyke. I tell you what there. Why did that look like Dr. Evil a little bit? Hey, that puts me closer to Tyler Van Dyke. I could maybe have more conversation with Tyler and go, Tyler, there's a quarterback in Philly shit in the bed. These guys really want you. Oh, and by the way, hey, Howie, Tracy, Bob. Yeah, I'm going to be closer to Tyler. By the way, Mario says the A&M game and Carolina game, if you want to bring the binoculars down, you know, there's an old offensive tackle, too, that I hear that Coach Stoutland likes, too. He likes my guy that plays offense, too. I talked to him yesterday. I could set that interview up for you, too. I know he really likes the kid at the U with that's offensive tackle. And you need to kind of go in between. And if there's maybe anybody at Oregon, Mario still knows everybody up there, anybody at Clemson with Dabo, let me know, because Dabo's coming on the show. He's on a sabbatical right now with his family, but Dabo wants to come on because he goes, you're giving way too much love to the University of Miami. And Dabo says, are we going to be fair, Sills? And I said, yes, we'll be fair. Even though you're at heart a Bama guy, okay? You see, the thing that I have with Dabo is this. Dabo Swinney's going to be the next head football coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide. You understand that, right? Okay? All right. Xander, you understand that Dabo Swinney's going to be the next head football coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide when Nick decides, whatever year that is, which I don't know, he's going to be the next head football coach of that program. He's a Bama guy at heart. And he's done wonderful things. And by the way, I think Clemson can win the national title. I think Clemson, watch this. Clemson, Alabama for the national title this year. Probably so. 10 years, $150 million. Yeah, it's probably what it's going to take to get Dabo in the building there, to have him leave Clemson. See, to me, the reason you leave Clemson, the ACC. Big Sills left the ACC to go be independent and play at Miami because I thought we didn't play good enough teams in the ACC. And I won this. In between that football up there, that's an ACC championship. I have an ACC championship. Miami doesn't. Isn't that crazy, Xander? Big Sills has an ACC championship. That's what that is up there in the middle of those two footballs, top shelf. I have an ACC title. Nobody at the University of Miami does. I started my career at Maryland. That's crazy, isn't it? Saban is 70, probably got 2 more years left. All right, let me get into what we teased here a little bit. Give me a benchmark on who you see Jalen Hurts compatible to in the league. These salaries that what we saw today with Kyler Murray, $46.1 million per year. Boy, I'll tell you. That's a lot of change, dog. Do you see Kyler Murray? Dak Prescott? Lamar Jackson? And Jalen Hurts in the same room? That's just Teddy Bridgewater without the arm. Oh, that hurts. Tim Tebow with Maryland. Damn, you're old. Thanks. Hey, Benz. Hey, Beansy. Thank you. Tyrod Taylor. Dak. Brissett. No. Josh Freeman. There's a Buck fan right there. Josh Freeman. What a bum. Jeremiah says Jalen is not close to Kyler or Lamar. Tyson Hill. He's got a better arm than Tyson. A right arm Vic. A right arm Vic. A right arm Vic. See, I don't compare him to Kyler. He's not as good as Kyler. He's not as much of an effective passer as Dak. Dak's an effective passer. He's kind of like Lamar, but Lamar is a passer too. But Lamar, you know what happens with Lamar Jackson? Lamar gets in trouble, in my opinion, when he gets hurt. When he starts to get banged up, I think he becomes more erratic in his passing game. I think that also affected Vic too. The more the season went on, I think they became less passers. Oh, come on, man. You don't think he's the same pass? Well, here. Let me take a look at that with Cam. So you think he's more like Cam? Cam Newton passing stats. Cam Newton stats. (57.7) completion percentage, 61.7, 58.5, 59.8, 52.9, 49, 59.1, 67.9, 56.2. And here's his first year was his best passing year. He had 4,000 passing yards his first season in the league. He has thrown for 35 touchdowns. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. I think that was the 15-1 year when they went to the Super Bowl. But 38, 69, 33, 31, 38, 35, 33, 33. Could he beat Cam Newton? I don't see him throwing 35 touchdowns, though. Could he beat Cam? Well, Cam's rushing stats too, right? 706, 749, 585, 539, 637, 750. Okay. Cam Newton. You okay with Cam Newton? You all right with Cam Newton? Xander, look at the numbers, Xander. They're there. We had 4,000 yard. I still don't see him being a 35 touchdown guy. I still don't see that. But 59, 62, 63. Would you be okay with him being Cam? What would Cam get in the open market today if he was in his prime today? He was kind of Lamar before Lamar, but Lamar is better than him. Lamar has nobody to throw the ball to, neither did he, outside of the tight end that they had, Greg Olsen. Okay? Jeremiah goes, Cam was not good enough. He did go to a Super Bowl, dude. Hoss, if you think Jalen Hurts is going to be better than Cam Newton, you're out of your mind. I'm not saying you are, Jeremiah. But if anybody thinks that Cam Newton's or Jalen's going to be better than Cam or Colin Kaepernick, you're out of your mind. He'll never put the numbers up that Dak puts up. He'll never put up the numbers that Kirk Cousins puts up. He may put up the same kind of numbers that Kyler puts up. He may. I don't know. Kyler, I think, is better. And that's why he got the $230 million contract today. It's because some people think he can be elite. Okay? Jeremiah goes, so did McNabb not good enough? And I love McNabb. Well, McNabb and Cam Newton got to the same level. They got to a quarter. They got beat. Bro, nobody's saying that Jalen can't get the team to the Super Bowl. Non-elite quarterbacks do it all the time. Nick Foles did it and won it. Nick Foles is not elite. Even though he beat the greatest, he's not elite. No disrespect to you, but he's not. Joe Flacco's not elite. Brad Johnson's not elite. Trent Dilfer's not elite. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo's not elite. All these guys got to Super Bowl. Some won, some didn't. You can get there. We're talking about a whole different deal here. We're talking about paying a guy Kyler Murray money. Why would I pay a guy that can help get me to a Super Bowl like Cam Newton $230 million when I don't have to? You see, the Eagles don't have to pay him that money. If they continue to win with the East being in the shape that it's in, like we started the program out, and the NFC staying, let's take a look at this. Guys, I don't think you're looking at the NFC like Howie's looking at it. In the next 2 years, are you ready for this? In the next 2 years, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers are going to be out of the NFC. Let's just do this. In 2 years, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady are out of the NFC. Who's the best quarterback in the NFC when Brady and Aaron Rodgers leaves? Who are your top 5 quarterbacks? Let's think. Stafford? Who else? 2 years from now, when those two guys go, shit, get this, Brady and Rodgers may leave next year. You don't know what that psycho in Green Bay is going to do. Give me your top 5 quarterbacks without Rodgers and Brady part of it. Cousins, Murray. You got to say Dak. Jalen. One, two, three, four, five. Stafford, Cousins. Wilson's not in the NFC anymore, Savvy. Wilson's in the AFC. Okay? Wilson's in the AFC now. He's not in the NFC. Not Jalen? Okay, then who? Stafford, Cousins, Murray, Dak. Who's the 5th guy? Burrow's in the AFC. Wentz? Well, I'll tell you what. If you guys are telling me that in 2 years from now, when Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady retires, okay, Stafford, Cousins, Murray, Dak, and Wentz are your top 5 quarterbacks? Jesus criminy. If I'm Philly, I don't really have to do anything crazy financially at the quarterback position because I can win with Jalen can beat every one of those guys except maybe Stafford. Two years from now, with the current group of quarterbacks you have in the NFC, is there even a guy on the horizon? Let's see. Wentz, I don't know. Who knows? NFC North, Chicago, Justin Fields. We'll see. In the South, it's a train wreck. In the West, NFC West, all the quarterbacks like, Trey Lance. I cannot believe y'all are leaving out Stafford. I said Stafford number 1, dog. Gardner Minshew. Think about that. Stafford, Cousins, Murray, Dak. I can't think of a 5th guy. So if you're the Eagles right now, this is how we started the show out. You're not under any pressure the next 2 years. to do much at the quarterback position unless one of those guys are in your face. So get this. If you're doing this, hey, man, I hope this kid puts up 3,800 yards, 28, passing touchdowns. He does that. The general manager is not going to move off the kid. He doesn't have to when the only people he has to beat is Dak, Kyler Murray, Kirk Cousins, and Matthew Stafford. Right? Dude, you got a 39-year-old quarterback in Green Bay. You got a 44-year-old quarterback in Tampa. Those two teams are driven by those two guys. They leave the NFC, you have nothing in that conference. Howie sits back and goes like this. Why would I overpay for Jalen when I don't have to? He doesn't have to overpay for Jalen. He can go to Jalen and go like this. You're only going to be as valuable to us, okay, as you'll ever be anywhere else. Winston is going to be the fifth best guy. If Jameis Winston's the fifth best quarterback in the NFC, my point is even more driven home. Eagles are in no – hey, I never looked at it like this. The Eagles are in no hurry to move off Jalen Hurts. There's not – and if you are in a position next year where you don't really like the guy that are sitting around you, where you're looking at the quarterback, like that guy Anthony Richardson at Florida, right, Xander? I'm not drafting that guy to be the quarterback of the Eagles. I'll keep Jalen. Anthony Richardson, he's pretty good. Is he an NFL quarterback? How many Gator quarterbacks have come out of that place and been like productive in the NFL? Let me think. Rex Grossman, kind of. Steve Spurrier, and who? Shane Matthews? I mean, you're not talking about a place that produces a lot of great quarterbacks. They never have, actually. It's another one of those pit places where you think they have great quarterbacks. They have great college quarterbacks. They don't have great NFL quarterbacks. Like Ohio State, they don't do that. They have 1 year with him. Fly. Baker Mayfield will be the fifth best guy in the NFC. Again, the point is driven home. That's right, GT. If Hurts shows promise, the Eagles are going to go like this. Let's just see what happens with Burrow. And we're going to ride it out with him. And it would actually be a pretty smart, path to go down. Show promise the first 2 years. How much promise can you show? Well, winning is going to take care of that. Yeah, you know why people are rooting for Hurts? Because of everything that went wrong with Carson Wentz. That's why they're going to root that he gets a contract. Dude, this Kyler Murray contract. Dude, 230 point. What is it? 0.5 million, 46.1 a year. Whew. 160 guaranteed. That's quite a deal for a guy who had 2 years left on his deal. Kyler Murray had 2 years remaining. And he went to the Cardinals and said, and by the way, he pouted in that Rams playoff game last year. He freaking pouted. Did a business decision. Hated it. Hated it. And they still paid him. This guy cried and whined his way to $230.5 million. Hey, that's pretty impressive. You ask me, man. That's great stuff. Listen, guys, you guys have been, hey, so tomorrow we got 4 days until the start of training camp. Jesus criminy, man. Dude, I am so stoked for the start of the NFL season. I know everybody else is too. I cannot wait. First exhibition games, practices, everything. I cannot wait. I appreciate it. By the way, Hollis Thomas was awesome. Please go back and watch it. Share the show, like the show. We so love the fact that you guys came here with us again. You guys are making the show just completely explode even more and more each and every single year. Till tomorrow, 3 to 6 Eastern. We'll see you on the flip side.